What do you say? You guys click that like button on the way in. I appreciate you. Let's fucking go. Holy fascist press conference. Holy pro-Putin. Holy pro-Russian. Holy anti-Ukraine. Holy pro-authoritarian. Let's fucking go, guys.
You are watching Blunt Politics with Boston Brian.
You sure as shit are, and I appreciate you for doing so. As always, it's Tuesday, August 12th. I appreciate you for being here. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to be here at Blunt Politics. I'm Boston Brian. This is the political podcast that sifts through the bullshit, the propaganda, and the lies of not only the mainstream media, but the Republican Party, Donald Trump, and breaks it down for the normal working class, everyday individuals like myself and like you guys, because that's who's affected by these policies in reality, right? So what do you say we get into thanking the chat? Lot to get into, guys. Lot to get into. Jesus H. I mean, probably the best representation of what an authoritarian press conference looks like, of what in an authoritarian fascist federal takeover of, you know, say this the nation's capital's police force would look like, in this merry gang of fucking degenerate drunken fools that you now see on your screen that are in charge of this fucking mess. This was just an outright disaster from start to finish, whether you're talking about, internal policy of the United States or our geopolitical policies and the ramifications of what was said. Donald Trump calling the meeting that he's having in Alaska with Vladimir Putin coming up, said he's having it in Russia twice. Now, once I said, you can kind of forgive an elderly fucking drug-addled, demented-minded fool for saying, but twice, I don't know. What are you sending? Some sort of signal there, Chief? I don't know. We got to talk about it. We'll dive into a little bit of that. There's also some more that we'll talk about on the ICE front. ICE, it says here, was posted. ICE and Border Patrol attempted to kidnap children and parents at Arleta High School in Arleta, California. We'll be taking a look at that. Also, as Donald Trump again is praising Russia and Vladimir Putin for being, this strong, independent, warring nation, as we'll go on to check out. This is what's going on in Ukraine. Possible Russian frontline breakthrough risk boosting Putin ahead of Trump's summit. The Russians have been making some territorial gains as it pertains to ground inside of Russia. But first, I wanted to take a look at that. And then there's some more Epstein information to talk about here. This is from the Telegraph. I was Epstein's butler for 18 years. There's no way he killed himself. We'll also be talking about Israel's assault on journalism, the assassination of Anas al-Sharif, the Al Jazeera journalist who was killed with 4 other of his colleagues there. This is a Democracy Now! Clip that we'll be taking a look at. This is an IHIP clip. I've had a podcast you guys turned me on to talking about Trump's White House presser that we'll be diving into. So we'll be taking a look at that as well. And then PBD's assholes. I think it was Adam has just an absolute shit take as it pertains to the Al Jazeera journalist getting killed. And we'll be taking a look at, surprisingly, Vinny, maybe with a based take in this conflict, in this beatdown there. There's also a clip from Bassem Youssef, who is really good on this situation, sitting down 6 months ago with Chris Cuomo. I don't know if we'll have time to get to that. There's also this article that I don't know if you saw. Seems like the Daily
Andrew, in your reporting of this book, which...
Let me pause this for a second. My apologies. This is from the Daily Beast. Daily Beast seems like they're doing very good reporting on this front. This is Sex Secrets of Trump, Epstein, and Andrew Laid Bare. I don't know how much of it we'll get into, but definitely something I would advise you guys to check out. If you're expecting or wanting to learn more about this situation. But before we get into all that, what do you say we bring in the chat? Say hello to everybody. First off, happy birthday to Roxanne Epstein. How are you? Thank you so much for being here. Apologies on the last name and the coincidence and what's going on in the news, but we'll get past that. Happy birthday. I hope you have a wonderful day. I really do appreciate you and all your time and energy that you spend here. So everybody, I hope you reach out to Roxanne and wish her a very, very happy birthday. What else will we be talking about? We got the show announcements as well. We're going to be announcing a new Wednesday show from 1 to 2 p.m. It's going to be also simultaneously broadcast on This Space, which is put together by the letter hack, Matt Strackbine there, who's doing fantastic work of getting some great creators together to, continue to raise awareness, to have another space for people to congregate and watch some great creators. So I'm very happy to announce that I'll be involved with This Space, in the letter hack. So I don't know. I think it's going to be starting not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday. So it'll be Wednesdays from 1 to 2, and that is Eastern time. Just to let everybody know there. So I appreciate that. And then we'll have our Wednesday show, 8:30 Eastern that night as well. Also, a big congratulations to one of our mods, Jen. I won't go too deep into what the congratulations is for if she's here. I'll let her kind of divulge what she wants to divulge, but I just wanted to say a huge congratulations, and I hope you have a wonderful time in Mississippi. You absolutely deserve all the accolades. So congratulations on that. Obviously, we'll be talking about Trump's fascist federal takeover, the IDF assassinations. And again, like I said, happy birthday to Roxanne. So what do you say we say hi to the chat? Moms, how are you? How's fucking everything? I hope you're well, dear. I hope you're well. I thank you so much for being here. Laser Swords, what's going on? Hey, fam. Trump freed Ghislaine, party of pedophiles. Wait, did I miss something? Hold on. Did I miss something? Did something happen as I'm popping on here, or what? Judge rejects Trump administration's request to unseal grand jury testimony in Ghislaine Maxwell case. Ghislaine Maxwell is more powerful. Doesn't seem like it. Doesn't seem like it. You scared me there. I don't know. I thought for some reason I was gonna look up and she's just gonna be like walking free out of the fucking prison, and I was gonna lose. I was gonna lose my shit. But thank you for being here. Evie's on. How are you, everybody on Twitch, everybody on Instagram, Facebook, and of course YouTube? Please make sure you like, share, subscribe. We're on our way to 15K. We got to get to 13 and then 14 first, but goals, people. All right, so what do you say we get into? And I apologize. I know you've probably seen clips of this, and I'll speed it up, and B, we're not going to go into the whole thing. But there are definitely some moments, and I'm still debating whether or not I should just do the clips of it. What do you guys think in the chat? Would you want to, because we have to dive into the press conference. We have to. It's one of the most fascistic, authoritarian press conferences, regarding one of the most important things. Obviously, this is just the latest and most egregious attempt at a distraction from the Epstein stuff right now. So Donald Trump is literally taking over the Metropolitan Police Force and giving that to Pam Bondi, just so people can talk about this as opposed to the Epstein files. But it's definitely something that we have to talk about, right? And so would you rather me go through like the Ace and Aaron Rupar, those guys and the clips that they had coming out of this press conference? Because there's a shitload. There really are. Or would you rather just kind of speed it up and see how much we could get through? Dawn says clips. Karen says, I can't watch that press conference again. That's all right. I don't blame you. It is what it is, but I can't make my show and build that around what everybody else has shown already. It's not, CNN's not showing this because Fox News has shown it. You understand that, I'm sure. Let's see here. Speedy work. Let's see here. Pervs, predators protecting each other. Absolutely. First off, thank you, mods. How are you, Mark? How's everybody doing? Big Dog, Lady, how are you? Tanya, everybody's fucking. Tiff, everybody's here. Is Tanya too? Oh, there she is. Hold on. She changed her name too. Let's go. Miss Maine 2025 Senior World. I wasn't gonna divulge too much. I wasn't gonna divulge too much because it's not my business, not my area. Not my area to do so, but I just wanted to extend my congratulations to you as well. Alyosha, how are you? Forrest, how are you? Steve, Denise, Mark, as I said, Cindy, what's going on? Hal went through it. Once was enough, but again, like I said, I can't build my show based upon what Hal has done or not done. So I appreciate you for letting me know, but apologies, I still have to cover it myself, to tell you the truth. So why don't we do this, since everybody's feeling a little fucking froggy, like they want to leap? Why don't we just go over the clips, and I'll just do some of the Ace and Aaron Rupar clips from that one, and we'll save ourselves some of the insanity from that. But just to let everybody know, the entire thing is fucking ridiculously insane and ridiculously fascistic, propagandistic, authoritarian, any word that you could possibly use to describe that, like anti-Ukraine, pro-Russian, pro-Putin. Again, talking about how he disagrees with the way that Volodymyr Zelensky has handled this war so far. Like, I have no idea what you could possibly disagree with as it pertains to what Volodymyr Zelensky has done in protecting his homeland, protecting his people, defending his military, and leading his military in this fight. A fight that was, again, started and perpetrated by the Russian military, by Vladimir Putin himself. So I'm not sure there. But then he goes on to talk about, the historic military victories that Russia has had over Hitler and Napoleon, and talking about how he talked to Viktor Orban, and who's another fucking dictatorial piece of shit in Eastern Europe there. Who of course, is just another one that fits in line with somebody that Donald Trump would continue to compliment and commend. But he says, Viktor Orban says that I'm an idiot for asking if Ukraine even has a shot at beating the Russian military. Of course they don't have a shot. And of course we'll go on to see the clips. But it's just fucking disgusting the way he completely dismisses Volodymyr Zelensky's need to, again, go by the Ukrainian constitution and what the Ukrainian Rada says that he can do, which again goes to show what Donald Trump thinks about the United States Constitution and the powers that it bestows upon the President of the United States and the limits that it gives the President of the United States of America. It's insane. So let me see if I can type this in for you guys. Let's see here. I'm sure Aaron's got a bunch of these clips here. I might have to scroll through and find them, because I was prepared to just kind of watch the actual press conference itself, but I know I'll go with your feelings. I'm sure I've seen it everywhere, and I don't want to take up the entire show with that as well. But let's see if we can, because I'm gonna have to go to the beginning. Here, I'll even bring you guys on screen. How about this? Share this tab instead. Put this in here. How you doing? All right, let's see if we can find kind of where the beginning of the clips are for that press conference. I'm sure I'm going to have to scroll a little bit, so bear with me. My apologies, because not only was there a shitload of clips to come out, but I'm sure there was a shitload of reposts and secondary posts to these clips as well. Look at all this. Jesus H. Christ. This is what people mean when it's like, oh, if you show the clips, it kind of makes it seem like the rest of it wasn't crazy. Well, it's like, well, when you got this many clips, I think it goes to show just a little bit of how crazy this press conference was. When you can get this many like newsworthy headline clips coming out of what was about an hour, a little over an hour worth of fucking footage. Jesus, look at all this. It's fucking outrageous. And this is just Aaron Rupar's clips. All right, so why do you say we stop there? We'll see this. This is the clown car arriving. This is his announcement. I do want to play this part, his announcement, just in case people haven't seen other shows that other people in the chat have seen. I have to obviously cater to other people that may not be privy to the shows that you watch as well. But I just want to hear his fascist announcement of the direct federal control, direct federal takeover, and the deployment of the National Guard in our nation's capital. The National Guard has already started reporting to different sites in D.C. I've already seen reports of that this morning too. So what do you say? Just take a look at this. I'm going to speed this up just so we can get through it a little quicker. I'm trying to give you guys as much benefit as I could possibly give you, while still also recognizing that we have to go through this shit. So here we go. Hit the like button. I appreciate you guys. This is just a minute 40. Probably won't take that long since I sped it up. And this is his fucking fascist announcement of the takeover of the Metropolitan Police Force in DC, in the deployment of the National Guard in DC again, in order to cover up his criminalities with Jeffrey Epstein and what the government is now engaged in, and the conspiracy that they're now engaged in. So hit that like button. Listen to this bullshit.
And we're here for a very serious purpose, Something's out of control, but we're going to put it in control very quickly, like we did on the southern border. I'm announcing a historic action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse. This is Liberation Day in DC, and we're going to take our capital back. We're taking it back.
Oh yeah, I should have mentioned that he's calling this Liberation Day, which is again just a fucking smack in the face, a kick in the teeth of people that were actually engaged in what is known as, you know, Liberation Days from around the world. I'm sure different countries have different dates and different historical references that they turn to in relation to you know, Liberation Day for either their country, their tribe, you know, their families, whatever it may be, right? But this is just a fucking total affront, a total smack in the face of every Liberation Day known throughout the world by different nations. This is no liberation. This is the opposite of liberation. This is the fucking total and complete opposite of liberation, which is authoritarian control. Again, this is at a time where crime in D.C. is at a 30-year low. Again, as you'll hear from a clip said by Kash Patel at this very press conference. I think Democracy Now! And the iHip ladies also go through and how they talk about how, like, crime is said by Donald Trump, said by Kash Patel, can't be the reason, can't be the justification they're using for this federal takeover. Again, I guess the assault of big balls was like a step too far, even though crime is at a low and on its way down and has been. So this is fucking literally the opposite of you know, freedom. This is the opposite of America first. This is the opposite of you know, don't tread on me. This is the federal government treading on you. Not only that, but this is the, you know, just in case you were wondering when fascism actually got to this country, this is the president of the United States, the head of the federal government in our country, telling everybody that they are federally taking over the police force and then instructing that police force to be more brutal and more violent to its citizens, to its citizenry that they're supposed to be protecting. So just in case you missed the whole when did fascism actually come to the United States, this is the federal government treading on you and telling the police force that they just federalized to actually be more violent. This is Donald Trump telling people they can do whatever they want. You know, what could possibly go wrong there, right?
Under the authorities vested in me as the President of the United States, I'm officially invoking Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act. You know what that is? And placing the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department under direct federal control. And you'll be meeting the people that will be directly involved with that. Very good people, but they're tough, and they know what's happening. They've done it before. In addition,
they've engaged in a federal takeover and deployment of you know, our own fucking Marine and you know, our own military forces upon our own citizens before. You know, I mean, I guess you could take L.A. as their first fucking trial run for this, right? Right, where they deployed the Marines, the National Guard, and everybody they possibly could to L.A. to intimidate and harass individuals living in that area. So this is their second helping of that. That was their trial run. That was their test run. This is when they actually start the actual takeover. And again, distraction as it may be to try to take over, you still have to fucking focus on this. You still have to take this and focus upon this as something that's extremely fucking serious. You don't just take a fascistic step like this that the federal government takes as it pertains to taking over a metropolitan police force and sending in the National Guard to our nation's capital as something you can just like fucking sweep under the rug. Unfortunately, I wish we could. I wish that were the case. I wish we didn't have to fucking worry about this shit and ice on top of it. But unfortunately, we do.
Deploying the National Guard to help reestablish law, order, and public safety in Washington, D.C., and they're going to be allowed to do their job properly. And you people are victims of it too. You know, you're reporters, and I understand a lot of you tend to be on the liberal side, but you don't want to get mugged and raped and shot and killed. And you all know people and friends of yours that
again, reminder, crime 30-year low in D.C. Again, as Kash Patel has either already mentioned or will go on to mention at this very same press conference, right? Fucking unbelievable. Let's see. I don't think he goes on to say anything too substantial in this one. So let's see if we can go on to the next one. This is where he says he'll also go on to do this in, you know, fucking New York City, Baltimore, Oakland, if he needs to. You know, specifically talks about sending in the military. I mean, this is the stuff of fucking, this is exactly what the left warned everybody about the second time Donald Trump was to get in power, where he was going to totally disregard all the laws, all the rules, all the regulations, the Constitution, and do exactly as he pleased, exactly as he chose, to give him and his cronies more power inside the federal government. This is exactly what we warned everybody that was going to happen. And it's exactly what the fuck is happening, regardless if it's a distraction or not, right? So I think he goes on to talk about D.C. being a problem, Baltimore being a problem, Oakland being a problem.
Further, we're starting very strongly with D.C. and we're going to clean it up real quick.
Right. So basically, he's stating that, you know, just because he's starting here in D.C. doesn't mean this isn't going to spread very quickly to other liberal or blue or Democratic cities across the country. Just like the fascism and the bigotry that is now being perpetrated among the immigrant community, the immigrant population in this country, isn't just going to be solely focused on them forever, right? Like pretty soon that, like we said, journalists, pretty soon people on the left, progressives, anybody that disagrees with Trump's policies are going to have the fucking crosshairs, is going to have the target on their back as well. And this is where Donald Trump, again, talking about fascism in the United States, again, the head of the federal government telling the federalized police force to, again, tread on its own citizens. This is here telling them you knock the hell out of them, telling them to do whatever they want. Check this shit out. This is fucking nuts, too. Let me see if I can speed this up. Check this out.
Until you knock the hell out of them, because it's the only language they understand. But they fought back against law enforcement last night. And they're not going to be fighting back long, because I've instructed them and told them whatever happens, you know, they love to spit in the face of the police. As the police are standing up there in uniform, they're standing and they're screaming at them an inch away from their face. And then they start spitting in their face. And I said, you tell them, you spit and we hit. And they can hit real
You
hard.
spit and we hit, he says. You spit and we hit. So basically instructing anybody, even if you're very close to the face and you're talking loudly and, you know, something comes out of your mouth, they're allowed to just whack you right in the face now, right? Even though that's a peaceful protest, even though you're staying within the guidelines, within the rules and regulations that have been set forth for you as a peaceful protester. I mean, as long as you're not directly fucking hawking loogies and actively and purposefully spitting in the faces of officers, they absolutely, and they still don't have a right to fucking do whatever they want. There are still guidelines and rules and regulations that they have to follow as to their treatment of citizens, especially in certain circumstances when, I don't know, deadly force is not involved, right? So there's definitely ways in which they're not allowed to do whatever the fuck they want, which is absolutely asinine to tell any police force.
Disgusting thing. I've watched that for years, for 3-4 years. I've watched them. The police are standing, and they're told, don't do anything under any search. So there's, and you can see they want to get at it. And they're standing there, and people are.
Oh shit! So they were right. Oh shit! Hold on. Let me see. Is this the same one? Did you email it? Let's see. My apologies. Yeah, so let me put this on the screen as well. I just got sent this. So it seems like, and my apologies, I forget who said it in the chat earlier. May have been right. Social media firestorm erupted Tuesday after news spread that Jeffrey Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell, serving a 20-year prison sentence for sex crime, was granted clearance to leave her lockup on work release. Let's see here. This is raw story. Sickening. Ghislaine Maxwell's work release from prison sparks outrage. A social media firestorm erupted Tuesday after news spread that Jeffrey Epstein associate Ghislaine Maxwell, serving a 20-year prison sentence for sex trafficking, which granted clearance to leave her lockup on work release. Quote, Ghislaine Maxwell was on work release is a sickening thought, quote, wrote ex-user Rogue POTUS staff, who has nearly 500,000 followers and runs a Substack blog, quote, Americans Anonymous.
That's what all the people there have. Like, for a day they can leave or whatever. They're still in custody. She's not released out.
Right, but the fact that she's getting
exactly, I'm just saying
extra, right? Okay, I got you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Just wanted to make sure people know she wasn't like actually being released from custody, released from the facilities. But the fact that she's given, special treatment and being afforded, special care and access to things that typically people that don't have the level of crime that she's been convicted of are afforded and allowed access to, at least to my knowledge, in my opinion, I don't think. I mean, she was already denied the access to the whole puppy, whatever the hell it was, the dog thing. So why the hell would she be allowed to have some sort of work release is fucking beyond me. This goes on to say that she was arrested in 2020 for sex trafficking. Countless reports. Let's see if it goes on to see anything here. She now gets to leave. Oh, so it says she now gets to leave the prison, wrote Doug Wall on X, self-proclaimed supporter of the Democratic Party with more than 63,000 followers. It's just 24 hours after talking tough on crime. The Trump administration is now giving Ghislaine Maxwell permission to leave her low-security prison for work assignments. Does this sound like justice to you? Other users noted how similar Maxwell's work release arrangement was to that of Epstein's when he was first imprisoned back in 2006. Despite the FBI having identified at least 40 potential minor victims of the Epsteins in the mid-2000s, the agency's investigated was closed after Alexander DaCosta, the federal prosecutor in Florida, granted Epstein a deal that saw him plead guilty to just one of the counts of prostitution to be sentenced to just 18 months in prison and to be allowed to leave prison on work release for up to 12 hours a day. Dubbed, quote, completely unprecedented by critics, Acosta said he offered Epstein the generous plea deal because he had been told Epstein belonged to intelligence, that the matter was above his pay grade, and that he should leave it alone. He never identified who told him to back off further prosecuting Epstein. Trump is soft on pedophiles, wrote Dede Watson, social media consultant and strategist with more than 100,000 followers on X. Ghislaine Maxwell is being granted the privilege of leaving the minimum security prison for work assignments. Release the unredacted Epstein files here. Ghislaine Maxwell out on work release is sickening thought that says custody. Let's see if this shows anything here. Let's see here. This says level at custody out. I don't know what any of this means. I'd be lying if I said I did. Level management, security level, low, minimum, custody is out. Again, you got to be aware of what you see on these things online. But again, if it's matching up with several different reports saying that she's now able to leave the prison on work assignments, I mean, just to fucking how much more blatant and obvious can you get, right?
She's eligible for the work release date.
Right. I got you. Yeah, she's eligible for these things. I get it. But what I'm saying is she's being afforded special care, special access. Again, that she shouldn't be afforded. That if this administration was actually tough on crime, tough on sex trafficking, really cared about children, they wouldn't be appeasing and affording convicted sex fucking traffickers and convicted pedophiles of special rights and special privileges. It's fucking ridiculous to think that is somehow something that a tough on crime administration, somebody that is, not worried about what this lady will say in order to incriminate him being the president of the United States, would do. Like, why is she being afforded special care? Why was she even moved from Florida to Texas? That alone being granted special waiver when, as per the rules and regulations of the BOP, is not eligible to be held in a low-level security prison like the one she's being held at. The one she was in Florida was already pushing the fucking boundaries as to the level of security that she could be housed at. So she gets this above and beyond that. They probably put out the story with the puppies and shit to make it seem like they were actually being tough on her once again. And now we get to find out that she's now eligible for work release and to actually leave the fucking prison. If I'm reading that right. I mean, again, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm no BOP professional, no BOP expert here, but that's what I'm getting from what's being reported here, at least by Raw Story in this article. Was granted clearance to leave her lockup on work release. Right? And that's what I'm getting from it. Completely unprecedented. That was talking about that. Let's see here. Anything else that was said in this? No, but all right. I appreciate you guys for bringing that to my attention, though. I really do. Thank you, Sheldon. I appreciate that. Anybody else that's donated, I didn't even do the whole self-promotion rigmarole. I totally forgot about that whole thing, but I appreciate you guys for stepping up even when I forget. It's not on there anyway. I keep forgetting to do that as well. I gotta put that up because there's a Venmo up in the corner if you guys want. Bust a buck, try your luck, support some independent media. I really do appreciate it. You become a member just underneath me. There's patreon.com/Boston Brian. We got our Patreon Zooms coming up, I believe, in a couple days, right? Today's the 12th, I think the 14th. Yep, August 14th. We got our monthly Zoom, and then the 28th is the VIP. Anybody that signs up at patreon.com/Boston Brian is eligible for that. What else do we got? Oh, we also got Mel made this for our new show on Wednesdays there. So it's going to be 2 p.m. Eastern. Wait, hold on. Is that right? Now that I'm looking at it, now that I'm thinking about it, I think it's 1-2, if I'm not mistaken. But we'll go back to that. I know it's on Wednesdays. It's next week, so we got time to work on that. I think it's 1-2, if I'm not mistaken. But no worries, no worries. I can hear her yelling at me from the other room.
Rob, take it down.
No.
Take it down.
All right. No worries. No worries. We got everybody knows it's 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Wednesdays, starting next Wednesday. But I appreciate Mel for making that graphic nonetheless. She's got a lot to do and a lot of times to change on a lot of those graphics. So I appreciate the work that she does. I really do. All right. Let's see if we can get into here where he actually tells them to do whatever they want. Donald Trump says, here, check this out. I want to make sure I get this actually into the spotlight and highlighted where, again, he gives the people permission. So when we go on and see people getting hit in the face with batons, when people being fucking shot with pellets and rubber bullets from close range, as we've seen from reporters and protesters, in any one of the conflicts under Donald Trump's watch. So when that starts happening, we can go and rewind to this moment where Donald Trump gives them, carte blanche and active permission from the president to do, again, quote, whatever they want.
Spitting in their face, and they're not allowed to do anything. But now they are allowed to do whatever the hell they want. This dire public safety crisis stems directly from the abject failures of the city's local.
And just to be clear, they're not allowed to do whatever they want. I just want to make sure that everybody does understand that they're not just allowed to do whatever the hell they want. That's just not a thing. There are definitely guidelines that these different police forces and public officials have to go by. They don't just get to do whatever the hell they want because Donald Trump instructed them to do whatever the hell want and to be violent against their own citizenry, which is fucking asinine. All right, so we got enough out of that one. This next one is Trump has now pivoted from crime to riffing on transgender for everybody. Not going to play that because I will not have or house any bashing of trans people on my show, regardless of who the fuck is saying it. You don't need, this is Trump actually saying that you don't need more cops. That's like an army. How can you send 3,000 more? We'll fucking skip that one. Okay, this is what I really wanted to get through here, because this is where Donald Trump actually starts going through his mind that he has to go to Russia to meet Vladimir Putin. Again, I don't know if he's just so old, so tired, and so demented that he can't remember that Alaska is United States territory now and no longer belongs to no longer belongs to Russia, or he's just trying to send a clear message to Vladimir Putin ahead of his meeting, trying to, again, boost the standing and position of Russia while trying to diminish and degrade the standing of Volodymyr Zelensky and Ukraine ahead of this meeting. Just seems like that was his whole intended purpose in here. But here he is actually calling the meeting that he's about to have in Alaska, which, in case anybody's wondering, is still United States territory. Just in case you're wondering. Calling it that, saying that he's going to have to go to Russia, saying that he's calling Alaska Russia. That's what he's, there's no other way to put it. So check this out. It's fucking ridiculous. Yeah.
Emergency. And it's embarrassing for me to be up here. I'm going to see Putin. I'm going to Russia on Friday.
Speaking of embarrassing is when your fucking bright orange president, the fucking pin-sized fucking pea-brained orange president, stands up in front of the world and doesn't recognize that Alaska is actually part of the country that he presides over. That's fucking embarrassing, with his two fucking alcoholic schmuck colleagues standing next to him. Neither one of them with the experience or the fucking know-how to be in the positions that they now hold. Fuck these people. This is embarrassing. What's embarrassing is fucking this Oompa Loompa fucker sitting in front of the world telling him he's going to take over the Metropolitan Police Force in D.C. and hand it over to Pam Bondi. He's going to send in the National Guard under fucking drunk headsets control. When, again, crime in D.C. is at a 30-year low. But use big balls, the assault on fucking tiny balls, a.k.a. big balls, as justification to send in the fucking military to our nation's capital. Unreal.
I don't like being up here talking about how unsafe and how dirty and disgusting this once beautiful capital was.
Hey, well, you should see parts of Moscow, buddy. I got fucking news for you. It ain't fucking what Tucker Carlson was showing on his little fucking propaganda tour that he got either. I can tell you that much. But that was just the first instance. You could be like, okay, he's old, he's a moron, he's fucking typically on some sort of Ozempic type bullshit, right? Maybe some fucking too much Adderall today, and he just got it wrong, right? And then you're like, well, what if he said it again? What if he actually does it again? Because let me see if I can play him in order here, because there's another clip here where he actually says that he's actually going to Russia again. Sorry, I forget how far on in the press conference it was. Let me see if I can find it again. Scrub this. Sorry. That's where he says people are out scrubbing their sidewalks on Saturday. Nope, that's the same one. That's the same one. That's where he says we'll have to watch that when he says he disagrees. Where does he say it the second time? I feel like it's a News Nation clip. That's where he gives Russia credit. Nope, not that one. I get along with Zelensky. Maybe. Oh, here it is. Here it is. For the second time, Donald Trump calling his meeting that he's having, his upcoming meeting with Vladimir Putin, which will take place in Alaska, calling that a meeting that's going to take place in Russia and saying that he's going to Russia. Yeah, take it away, Gramps.
It's going to be a big thing. We're going to Russia. That's going to be a big deal.
You're not going to Russia, though. You're not. It can't be a big deal because what you just said isn't happening.
What happens, happens. I'll let you know what happens.
You know what's fucking funny, too, is if you keep your eye, not on Pam Bondi, because she's just like, president. Oh, I love presidents all the time. President's good. What president says, president goes. He says it's the thing. It's the real thing. President, I'll help presidents, right? So can't look at what Pam. But if you actually look at Pete Hegseth and his reactions during specific moments in this press conference, one of them being where Donald Trump talks about how Vladimir Putin and the general that was responsible for the tank assault at the beginning of the war and the tanks getting stuck in the mud is probably no longer around, thus, assuming and saying that Vladimir Putin had him killed or, at least sent away. And you can see the little smirk on Hegseth's face behind it. But other than that, right, you can see just he keeps looking at Trump and you can see where he's like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? But he can't show it. I still think he knows that he's just like, behind the fucking, he's under the thumb of a madman here, right? Not that he's not a madman himself, so he's right where he fucking belongs. But all right, here we go. Fucking one more time. One more time where he calls it Russia. Here, check it out. He says it's a big deal because he's going where?
It's going to be a big thing. We're going to Russia. That's going to be a big deal.
Again, second time he did that. Second fucking time he did that. To me, it's like, did nobody tap him the first time? And this as well. Here, let's go on and play the one where he praises Russia for being a warring nation. Let's see here. It's got to be one of these. Let's see. For the record, that's Janine Pirro saying she can't touch 14-year-olds. Probably not the language and the rhetoric you want to be standing up there and saying as your boss, the guy standing to your right, is actively engaged in the biggest government conspiracy, biggest government cover-up to, again, hide his involvements with Jeffrey Epstein and his pedophilia and sex trafficking ring that he had involving young girls. So, yeah, you might maybe choose your words a little bit more carefully. But I'm just trying to look for here where he... again, praises Russia for being a warring nation. Sorry, there's literally so many clips that came from this. It's fucking ridiculous. Let's see here. Maybe you knocked the hell out of it. Maybe it's even further up. Maybe I even passed it. My apologies. Let me see if I can find it here. He says something about, a warring nation and that, Viktor Orban said, I'm an idiot for thinking and even asking the question if Ukraine could possibly beat Russia. We'll play this one after. He says he gets along with Zelensky, but disagrees with how he's handled the war. Again, sending very clear signals. Then this is a non-coherent, fucking incoherent, rambling. But here it is right here. All right. So this is a clip where he's, again, ultimately praising Vladimir Putin, praising Russia for being a warring nation, for just abusing and bullying their neighbors on a consistent basis. Talking about how, again, his dictatorial buddy there, Viktor Orban, said and continues to say that Russia is unbeatable. Ukraine has no shot. And this is, again, just before his meeting with Vladimir Putin to discuss peace in the terms and the negotiating terms that will have to be, agreed upon in order for Russia to get their troops the fuck out of Ukraine, or as Donald Trump calls here, land swaps, again calling it oceanfront property. this maniacal genocidal view that he has of only looking at these pieces of property taken by force by dictators, by genocidal dictatorial fucking madmen, as like oceanfront property and expensive real estate. Like, it's just a fucking sick way to think about this shit. But that's exactly how he talks about it in this here. Let's take a look at this clip here. It's just a fucking another egregious moment during what was an absolute disastrous press conference. Just the definition of fascism and authoritarianism in 2025. The definition of a distraction attempt from the Epstein files. The whole fucking thing. This story has everything going for it, ladies and gentlemen. Fucking hit that like button. Not for him, but for us. Let's fucking go.
Mr. President, when there could be normal trade between the U.S. and Russia, should your meeting go well, should there be peace?
I do. Yeah. Russia has a very valuable piece of land.
Now, what land? Now, I still don't know. It's unclear to me if he's talking about the Russian, like Russia as a whole, the territory of Russia, or the territory that it holds inside of Ukraine, right? Because what the fuck? The whole point of this whole thing, the United States should go into this negotiation with nothing more on our lips, with nothing more on our fucking list of demands than the entirety of the Russian military, who is actively engaged in war, actively engaged in combat, who possesses a weapon, possesses some sort of military vehicle, possesses some sort of tank, or fucking shoulder-fired rocket, drone-fired capable anything, to get the fuck out of Ukraine immediately. Right, should be the basis, the starting point of the United States negotiation that they go into this meeting with Vladimir Putin. That should be the basis. That should be the starting point. Okay, we say every single fucking hostile Russian right now needs to get the fuck out of Ukraine. You say, and we'll see what they fucking say in return. But that should be the starting point. Donald Trump talking about land swaps that Zelensky hasn't agreed to, that Zelensky says he has to fucking, go to the Ukrainian constitution and see what it says, go to the Ukrainian fucking parliament and see what it says. The Rada, he can't just make decisions of fucking what Donald Trump is calling land swaps. Again, just appeasing a dictator, appeasing territorial expansion by a dictator, by gifting them land that they took by force illegally through the act of war crimes, through the act of breaking international law, the Geneva Convention, the rules of war. The list fucking goes on. And Donald Trump's already talking about rewarding these assholes with land swaps, as opposed to calling for the complete and total removal of every fucking hostile Russian from the sovereign territory, the sovereign borders of Ukraine. How about we start there? That's a fucking starting point, maybe.
Vladimir Putin would go toward business instead of toward war. It's a warring nation. That's what they do. They fight a lot of wars. A friend of mine said Russia's tough.
Apparently, he hasn't met enough Ukrainians then. Apparently, he hasn't seen the grit and determination of the Ukrainian people, regardless of what position they hold in society, regardless of their fucking military skills or military knowledge. The fight in these people is fucking never ending. The energy they have to continue this fight, to protect their homeland, to protect their families and their family trees, is fucking endless. It's really remarkable. And apparently Donald Trump should be in and around more fucking Ukrainian people, so we could fucking actually tell and actually see just how much fight is in the Ukrainian people as well. And it doesn't matter how much fucking warring that the fucking Russian country has done in the past. Those people aren't around no more. Shaniqua don't live here no more, motherfucker. Those people are gone. The only people that are in Russia right now are the people that live in Russia right fucking now. The only people fighting for Russia are the people that grew up for Russia right fucking now. So they don't know about Napoleon. They don't know about fucking Hitler. Very few squads, very few brigades, whatever the fuck you want to call them, platoons, for the Russian military have anywhere near what is remotely considered adequate training for battle circumstances, for fucking for war itself. So to put them on a pedestal like, oh, we have to be careful of this warring nation because that's all they do. Well, fucking take a look at the fucking Ukrainians, motherfucker, because they can fight too. And it doesn't matter what they fight with, toothpicks, fucking crowbars, broken glass, beer bottles. They'll fight with fucking anything. And they'll continue this fight regardless of the fucking battle lines that you redraw, which is another thing that Donald Trump says in here. If you're just redrawing the battle lines, that doesn't sound to me like ending a war. It sounds to me like redrawing battle lines, that a battle that will be ongoing after those battle lines are redrawn. Something that Philip Ittner, our good friend and colleague here of the show, somebody that has incredible insight into the Ukrainian-Russo relationship, incredible insight into the minds and the psyches of the Ukrainian people, considering he's lived there for some time in Kyiv, the capital. And he says outright that this will not end regardless of what the United States tries to fucking force the Ukrainian people into. If they try to force the Ukrainian people into giving up more territory than they are comfortable or willing to part with to end this war, then there's going to be an ongoing fucking problem. There's going to be an ongoing battle. It might be hit and run, resistance type battles, militia type battles, but this isn't going to end there just because you think you can waltz in here and fucking redraw the battle lines like some fucking hot shit.
They just keep on fighting. They beat Hitler, so did we. And they beat Napoleon. You know, they've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah, he fails to mention how many people they lost in that fight. Are the fucking Russian people willing to go that far again? Because they're really close to heading themselves on that right track, right? They're about a 20th of the way there, depending on what historical accounts, in the numbers, the historical figures you believe, and how many people the Russians lost in and around World War II. It could be a 40th of the way there, by some accounts. But they're definitely on the right road, if that's what they're willing to do.
I asked a question to a very, very smart man that some people like and some people don't like. Viktor Orban. Right?
Okay, again, now, so as in the same press conference, he talks about how he disagrees with Volodymyr Zelensky, his handling of this. Make sure everybody knows that it would have never happened if Donald Trump was in office, and Zelensky should have handled it differently and should have tried to kept them out of this, yada, yada, yada. He goes on to, again, praise not only Vladimir Putin and the Russian military for their past military fucking victories, but also talk in high praises Viktor Orban, another dictatorial piece of shit, the leader of Hungary, another Eastern European country, and buddy of Vladimir Putin here.
From Hungary, the head of Hungary, and he's in that same area.
At least he got it right this time. I think the last time he brought him up, he said he was from fucking Turkey.
And knows the two countries very well. I said, this was before Biden didn't do anything to
and again, can't wake up and fucking put his shoes on without thinking about Joe Biden at least 10 times. At least 10 times.
Out of it. He could have gotten out of that. It would have never happened. I said, so can Russia be beaten by Ukraine? He looked at me like, what a stupid question.
No, you see the condescending nature? Just to even bring this up, as the fucking leader of the fucking free world, the supposed leader of the free world, as somebody that's supposed to be, shaping these negotiations for peace, trying to bring both sides to the table, which he's not. Can we just fucking, put that on the fucking screen too? Like, the whole point of this is to bring both sides to the table. That's what he said he was going to do in the first 24 hours when he was elected. He's still not bringing both sides to the table. Okay, that's still not what he's doing. He talks about how maybe next time he'll sit the two of them down together. Maybe next time, but not this time. Not this time, of course. Not this time, of course. And again, not taking into account that Zelensky has already ruled out these fucking land swaps that Donald Trump's been talking about. Again, talking about the Ukrainian constitution and the limits that it sets upon the president there. Again, this brings up a good insight as to what Donald Trump thinks about the United States Constitution and the powers that it bestows and the powers that it restricts upon the United States president. He just doesn't give a shit about it. He thinks he could care less. He's actually flabbergasted as to why Zelensky would even remotely even think about the Constitution at a time like this, right?
He said Russia's a massive country.
But this is him bringing up another dictator's fucking words, another dictator's fake story trying to, again, boost Russia's standing in these negotiations. So to make them look stronger and tougher in this, again, gives them more standing in this negotiation to demand what they think they should be demanding. If everybody thinks they're the stronger one in this, again, everybody wants to be the stronger one in the negotiation, right? For a fucking goddamn reason. So this is Donald Trump actively trying to make Russia seem like the strong one in the negotiation just before this happens. Check this out.
He looked at me like, what a stupid question. He said, Russia's a massive country and they win their country and they win their life through wars. They fight wars. That's what they do. He said, China beats you with trade. Russia beats you with war.
I mean, it's just fucking, again, if you can't read between the lines there, again, putting into account, again, we'll play this right back to each other so you can actually put it to account where he's again lauding and praising the Russian military and their past military fucking victories. As in the same press conference, he says here he disagrees with the way Volodymyr Zelensky has handled this war passionately or severely. He disagrees severely, I think is the word he says. Check this shit out. Again, listening to what you just heard, talk about the Russian military being powerful and strong and the victories against Hitler and Napoleon. Why he's bringing that up in this press conference, I don't fucking know. Sending a clear signal, A, and again, doing what he thinks is his duty and boosting just a little bit the favorability, the positioning, the standing of Russia in these negotiations just before he gets in there. But listen to this bullshit, too.
I think we'll have constructive conversations. Then after that meeting, immediately, maybe as I'm flying out, maybe as I'm leaving the room, I'll be calling the European leaders who I get along with very well. And, I have a great relationship, I think, with all of them. And I get along with Zelensky, but, I disagree with what he's done. Very, very severely disagree. This is a war that should...
I very, very severely disagree with what he's done. What the fuck has he done? Besides do one of the better jobs that I've ever seen a leader in wartime do in taking over a country, especially not having the military background, especially not having the political or being a dignitary. The guy's a fucking literally stepped out of show business to take over his country at one of the most important times in their nation's history, and has kept that country alive after this was supposed to be a 72-hour operation to storm right into the capital of Kyiv and take over the entire country based upon that fucking strategy. So I think you guys, I mean, it's no fucking secret. You guys know that we are stout and outright supporters of Ukraine and Volodymyr Zelensky. We don't, again, no wartime leader has made every decision 100% correctly, has gotten everything correct, right? So there are absolutely things that we could disagree with, that we could pick apart. But at this moment in time, why would we do so when on the whole, he is doing a fabulous job in keeping his country alive, keeping his country going, trying to keep the relationships with people like Donald Trump and relationships with countries like the United States at such a time of turmoil for our country's political existence? Trying to keep those fucking, relationships alive and, to sustain their people with weapons and ammunition and the aid that they need is not a fucking easy job by any stretch of the imagination. Not only that, dealing with Putin, dealing with other world leaders, dealing with his own country and the problems that they have still in ongoing, dealing with the corruption and the problems that they need to stamp out in order to gain more favorability and notoriety on the world stage as it pertains to maybe joining NATO, right? So there are definitely certain things that we recognize that Ukraine still has to do, the problems that they still need to take care of in order to take that next step. But that doesn't mean that in any way, shape, or form that Volodymyr Zelensky doesn't deserve the utmost respect for the way he's handled this war, especially from the president of the United States. Again, going into one of the most important sit-downs, one of the most important meetings of this war. It's just fucking not how you handle these situations. It's not what you do leading up to a negotiation, right? This would be like fucking, I don't know, going into the car dealership you're about to buy and offering fucking $30,000 over the asking price, or telling them you got $30,000 more in the asking price in your pocket, and that's what you're willing to spend, right? And you just tip the guy, okay, I got a fucking sucker here, right? Looks like the guy's actually, not as smart as he thinks he is, because clearly he hasn't seen the sticker price. He just told me he's willing to pay $30,000 over sticker price for that. It's fucking nuts. It's nuts. It's literally the opposite way that a dignitary, a heads of state, somebody that is actually trying to enact peace between these two nations would go about this, would go about doing this. He tried to, at the very least, make them both equal, give them both equal footing. And in this case, even that would be fucking erratically stupid to do when you're supposed to absolutely be giving Ukraine the upper hand, since they were the ones that were attacked, since Russia attacked them, since Russia stole land illegally from them, since Russia has perpetrated hundreds of thousands of deaths upon their country illegally and unnecessarily, unprovoked. So we should be giving Ukraine the upper hand. We should be demanding a whole hell of a lot more from Russia, and applauding Ukraine for what they've been able to do with so little. I mean, I don't know if I can stress enough how much the Ukrainian people do, even private contractors and people associated with the military do with so little. Like, if you saw the factories that I saw firsthand and had the ability to tour, like, you would be like, how the fuck? And respectfully, I'm saying this, respectfully, giving them credit for the shit that comes out and is produced from these factories, with all fucking due credit and all due respect. You would go over there and be like, how the fuck does anything get produced here? Right? This would be an abandoned building in the worst of the cities in the United States. And they are working full-fledged fucking 24 hours a day with equipment donated from different parts of the world, different humanitarian aid organizations, learning as they go, building fucking different parts so they don't have to outsource those from different countries, learning how to mass manufacture those, learning how to get those parts to the front lines themselves so they don't have to, worry about, again, outsourcing that to other individuals or fucking, what do you call it? Not travel companies, but delivery companies, people that like trucking companies that you don't trust, right? Developing their own trucks like we saw in Operation Spiderweb. I mean, that shit's fucking, that's what's going on over there. And they're building that shit in some of the most dire straits that you could possibly think of, with the least amount of light equipment, backing, financial support that you could possibly think of. And they've managed to make it this fucking far. So just imagine if we give them what support financially and militarily that they do deserve, and what they could be doing with that help, as everybody should be donating to groups like United 24, Doctors Without Borders, anybody that helps over there, whether it pertains to medicine, whether it pertains to helping the Ukrainian military, the Ukrainian people in food, aid, water, assistance in any way. Make sure you're checking out these organizations. Make sure they're reputable. There are a few that we have and that we're affiliated with ourselves, United 24, I think being the main one as it pertains to Ukraine. We know that is a reputable place to, again, there's also places like St. Javelin, where you could buy Ukrainian merch. And that goes, again, I believe, if you read the bottom lines of that absolutely a portion of that gets donated. And the proceeds get donated to different parts of the Ukrainian public and the Ukrainian military. So there are definitely several ways in which you guys could get and stay involved, and I appreciate you guys for doing so. And I appreciate the people such as Dutch Antifa Dragon, Greg, Nordez, Sheldon, Obscenity Sam, and Jackie for gifting either memberships, super stickers, super chats, or reaching a milestone for yourself. Really, this is independent media funded solely by you guys, produced solely by you guys. Really, honestly and truly, it is produced by you guys, because if I continue to talk about something that you disagree with or don't want to talk about, I see that right in the numbers, and that makes me, again, change the positions that we take, and not the positions, but the stuff that we cover, and maybe the angles in which we cover them. So you guys actually get a say in how this show is produced, because it is 100% funded by you guys. This is true 100% independent media. Bust a buck, try your luck, support some independent media. Again, whether it's my show here at Blunt Politics, or Jesse Dollamore, David Pacman, Brian Tyler Cohen, Political Punk, The Vanguard, whoever the fuck it may be. If they give you the most bang for your buck, then make sure, if you're in the position to do so, you're supporting these people financially, because, again, this is the only way that food consistently stays in the mouth, and the way that I can sit here in front of this bright light, this camera, and this microphone, giving you the updates that I think are important to inform the American public of. So I appreciate everybody that continues to do so. Again, Nordez, Sheldon, Jackie, Obscenity Sam, Dutch, Antifa Dragon for becoming a new member, and Greg for his milestone of 15 months. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys, literally from the bottom of my heart. And I hope you guys will continue to support me in all my endeavors. Again, our new Wednesday endeavor starting next Wednesday will be simultaneously telecast on this space. Again, what the Letter Hack is doing over there is fantastic. And, as Hal says, a rising tide lifts all boats. So anything that we can do to bring more awareness, bring more light, not only to the problems that we now face, but also to the great content creators that are now speaking up about these issues, the better that I will feel about myself and the better that our society will be. Thank you, Mark. I do appreciate you guys. Thank you to all the mods, Adam, Tanya, Tiff, all you guys are fucking fantastic. I really do appreciate you and the work that you do in the chat, continuously putting on those the links and everything. What do you got?
Explain what this space is.
Explain what it is?
Yeah, for people who didn't hear you.
Yeah. So this space, again, is being put on by the Letter Hack, Matt Strackbine, over at the Letter Hacks channel. And it's basically just kind of, I hope I explained this right, just an amalgamation of different progressive voices that he wants to be continuously running for people to turn to at any time of the day that you want to either check in on the news or check in on what's going on with, progressive content creation. So it's basically a bunch of different creators that he's got on at different time slots over there, so that at different times of the day you could tune in no matter when and be seeing something pertaining to the necessities that we see now in our political times. So I think it's a fabulous thing that he's doing, and I hope I kind of got that across in the correct way. If the Letter Hack's listening, if he can explain that in a more concise way, then feel free to do so. But that's kind of what I got. Just kind of building this progressive atmosphere, these progressive spaces on YouTube to try to get more people involved. I'd love, obviously, to build my reach to get new listeners and new viewers involved in blunt politics. And I'd love to send more people to this space and have people subscribe to not only this space, but the great content creators that are, adding their voices there. He's got some big names, some are being simulcast there, where it's kind of like a re-showing of their show. A lot of it's going to be live. I'm very excited about it. I appreciate the opportunity. I thank him for even thinking about me as it pertains to this situation and this opportunity. So I really do thank him very, very much. What do you got? All right, thank you. Yeah. So Mel says she got the new graphic. So this is the graphic here. So Wednesdays, you can check out this space, which is he put the Working Class Independent Media Collective in Solidarity. Again, I think it's a great way to use his voice, his space. It's one of the most unselfish things that I've seen a YouTube creator do, where he's using his space and his platform to platform other creators and give them the opportunity to not only build their platforms, but to get their voices, opinions, and beliefs and policies out there. So hand up, shout out to the Letter Hack for doing this. It really is kind of, it's the definition of putting your money where your mouth is. In regards to progressive media and building an atmosphere where people have a place to go and multiple places to go, hopefully, in that. So we'll be broadcasting. The show will be here on Blunt Politics, but they'll be also showing it not a restream, but also like a screen sharing type thing on their own, this space that people could watch on also. But yeah, everything will kind of look and feel the same, but they'll also be putting it on this space. So again, thank you to everybody over there. All right, let's see if we can get back into these ridiculous friggin' clips here. I forget where I am, but this is where this is where he's saying he disagrees with Zelensky. Sorry, I got into a rant that took me off into the far end stretches of my mind. So yeah, let's continue on this, and then we'll hop out of this because I think you get the idea on this one. I know, I'm not trying to bore you guys to death. I'm not trying to make you guys watch this 7 times. But again, I hope you understand that CNN and fucking Fox News and MSNBC don't not show the fucking top news stories of the night of the week because the other news channels show them. You guys understand that, right? So if it's something you've seen, you don't want to go through again, pop off for a couple minutes. I fucking don't blame you. Wouldn't blame you. Couldn't blame you, right? But there are people out there that have not been able to catch up on this are just getting to see this. And it is very important for them to understand just how fascistic and authoritarian our president is right now, and how much the warnings that we were trying to give everybody have now just been justified and corroborated here. So let's go on with this. I appreciate your patience in getting through this. I don't like covering it any more than you do. I really fucking don't. And this is a guy, believe me, I've covered this guy and everything he said for the last fucking 10 years, literally every word that he's uttered. So if anybody is tired and sick of fucking hearing this guy, it's me. So please try to cut me some slack. This is what I have to do. This is my job and my work. So try not to take it out on me, but take it out on this orange buffoon.
It never happened. Wouldn't have happened. But I'll be speaking to Zelensky. The next meeting will be with Zelensky and Putin, or Zelensky and Putin and me. I'll be there.
Now, why not this one? Why not? Why are you involved in this in any regards besides setting up the meeting between these two countries? If that's what they're willing to do, if each side is willing to sit down, your only role in this should be to facilitate that meeting. Why you have to be there and get the accolades and the fucking pictures and the red carpet and the spotlight when it has fucking nothing to do with you, and you continue to go on and say that you're not giving any more money to Ukraine and this and that. So what the fuck are you even doing sitting down at the table? How about you let the country that's actually being attacked, actually being fucking murdered on a nightly basis, why don't you let one of their representatives sit down at the fucking table and negotiate, their own country's fucking peace settlements here?
But I want to have a meeting set up between the two leaders. I was a little bothered by the fact that Zelensky was saying, well, I have to get constitutional approval. I mean, he's got approval to go into war and kill everybody, but he
was a little bit bothered where Zelensky says he needs to get constitutional approval to literally give up sovereign territorial fucking land. Like Donald Trump would just be able to just give away United States territory without an act of Congress, without the prior approval of Congress. Like, is that what he's saying here? Is that what he thinks that Zelensky can do? He can just fucking, oh yeah, we'll give you this city for that city. And what are we trading here? What are we fucking trading? I don't know what land swaps, because the only piece of real estate that I knew that Ukraine even held of Russia was the Kursk area. And I don't think that's on a scale substantial enough to warrant like a one-to-one trade of the entirety of the territory that Russia now holds on the eastern portion of Ukraine. And in other territories, obviously.
The approval to do a land swap, because there'll be some land swapping going on. I know that through Russia and through...
Can you be more specific? What are we talking about in terms of land swapping? What land are we swapping here? Can we stop being so vague? I mean, if you're going to go on to praise Russia and fucking demean and, again, degrade Volodymyr Zelensky's standing and Ukraine's standing just before this meeting, can you be a little bit more specific on what these land swaps are? Maybe then Zelensky can be more specific on what exactly he needs from the constitutional approval.
Conversations with everybody to the good, for the good of Ukraine. Good stuff, not bad stuff. Also, some bad stuff for both. So there's good and there's bad. But it's very...
I'm sorry. What? I'm going to get... He's got to get one of these. He's got to get one of these. Hold on. I'm going to have to... It's going to take me a second to get to it. But it like, what in the fuck was that all about, right?
What in the hell was that all about?
It's going to be good, but it's going to be bad. It's going to be on both sides. It's going to be up and down. It's going to be hey, but it's going to be ho. It's going to be yes, but it's going to be no. It may be blue, but it may be black. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking? Can anybody decipher that? What does he say here? Through Russia, everybody says it's to the good, for the good of Ukraine, good stuff, not bad stuff. And then he says, what is
also some bad stuff.
Also some bad stuff for both. So it's good and there's bad. What? I'm sorry. What the fuck are you talking about? Bullshitting your way through a fucking project you did no studying on? You had no involvement in? That's what's going on here. That's literally him struggling his way through this fucking question, having done absolutely no research, no studying on the subject whatsoever. So there's some good stuff, but some bad stuff, and some, maybe some not so good stuff for this side, but the good stuff is definitely on both sides. So good, but bad, but good at the same time. So that way, no matter what the fuck happens, you go, well, I said it was good and bad, right? I mean, what the fuck is going on? This is our leader. This is the guy that's supposed to be actively fucking conducting these sit-down meetings, these negotiations, these peace talks. Good God.
For both. there's good and there's bad, but it's very. I think we'll have.
Jesus fucking Christ. Tell me you can decipher that one. All right. So I won't make you suffer through too many more of these. There was this one here, again, to illustrate the nonsensical rants, the mumble jumbled brain of Donald Trump would be this one. See if you can kind of decipher what he's talking about here. I don't know. I know they're English words. I know I recognize the words, just not so much in the order that he has them in. So check this one out. Right? Let me put this on the screen for you guys. What the fuck's he talking about here?
Market. So I said, listen, I want 20% if I'm going to approve this for you, for the country, for our country, for the U.S. I don't want it myself. You know, every time I say like 747, I want, yeah, for the Air Force. So I just wanted. So when I say I want 20, I want for the country. I only care about the country. I don't care about myself.
Oh, right.
And he said, would you make it 15? So we negotiate a little deal.
Okay.
So he's selling
Okay.
a essentially old chip that Huawei has a similar chip, a chip that does the same thing.
What? Well, I'm sorry. What? I got to give him another one of these. I'm sorry.
The rest of my life, I have the curse that I have little hands. Little hands.
Sorry, wrong one. It was supposed to be this one.
What in the hell was that all about?
What? I don't know what he's talking about. This is not the guy you want in charge. This is not the guy that you want literally announcing a federal takeover of the fucking Metropolitan Police Department in our nation's capital as he's threatening or actively sending in the National Guard at the same time. This is not the man you want in fucking charge of extremely important peace negotiations between two nations, one that actively engaged in a war in an attack on its neighbor, and has since lost over 1 million of its fucking military service members in that fight. You don't want this guy actively trying to fight, and talk about the plight of the Palestinian people right now and the ongoing fucking acts of genocide and murder perpetrated by the IDF and the Israeli fucking military. You don't want this guy at the helm. I can promise you that. You really fucking don't. So I'm going to take this off. Let's get out of here. All right, so I'm done with him. We'll spare you guys from the rest of that, right? Yeah, somebody said I hate this timeline. It's fucking nuts. This is nuts, right? And to think, everybody's like, oh, I can't watch that. I can't watch that. We're literally watching fascism in real time, broad daylight in your face, punching you right in the fucking nose as it kicks you in the ball sack or the crotch, whatever, while spitting in your face and stomping on your foot at the same time. And it's crazy to me that people are like, oh, I don't want to watch this. I can't watch this. Well, fucking sorry. I'm fucking sorry. You're going to have to. I apologize that that's the timeline that we live in. I apologize that that's what's going on. And I apologize that that's the fucking position that we now find ourselves in. I tried to stop it. You guys that have watched the show know that I actively tried to stop this, that I actively voted for the woman of color to be our next president of the United States. But that's where we are, ladies and gentlemen. That's where we are. And when you have the president actively fucking glad-handing and fucking, peace-stroking the president of the fucking of Russia, a dictator, Vladimir Putin, as he's talking about how much he disagrees with our ally, the president of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, just before these incredibly important fucking peace negotiations, then we got to talk about it. We got to call it out. We got to look at it. And that's exactly what these fabulous ladies have done as well. So hopefully nobody's over there commenting on the fucking I've Had It podcast like, can you please stop talking about this? I'm sick of seeing Donald Trump. I don't want to hear him anymore. Because guess what? You'd get a big shut the fuck up from them, probably. That's what you'd probably get in return. So let's see here. This is their take. I'm going to speed it up just a little bit again, just so we can get through just a little bit more than maybe we would have in normal circumstances. And this was their take on that White House presser that went off the rails after a nuclear meltdown. Let's see how much we can get through here. Again, this is the I've Had It podcast. Thank you to the chat for, again, introducing me to these wonderful individuals here, and their insights and their fucking rhetoric is pretty priceless. So what do you say we get into it? Thank you guys for the likes, the shares, the subscribes. I really do appreciate it as well. Everybody that's joined here at Blunt Politics. Again, I'm Boston Brian. Thank you so much for your dollar, your $2, your Venmo, your PayPals, your super chats, the super stickers, everything that you guys do and continue to do to support this show is so much appreciated. So Here we go. Thank you. Let's get into what they think of that fucking ridiculous press conference. Maybe we'll get a little more from this than we could actually stomach ourselves.
Convicted felon Donald Trump is not only lying and unhinged and making stuff up. I think he sounded completely impaired at his press conference regarding taking federal control over Washington.
Oh, so she thinks he was fucked up too? She thinks he was kind of a little sauced up maybe? Huh? Sucking back on grandpa's old cough medicine there, a little Adderall in a bottle there, Chief?
D.C., which, might I remind everyone, has the lowest crime rate in 30 years. But let's hear it from himself before this press conference yesterday.
Our capital city has been overtaken by violent gangs and bloodthirsty criminals, roving mobs of wild youth, drugged out maniacs and homeless people. And
so this is the press conference today. I don't know if it may be a little too small on the screen for everybody to see me, if I can make it a little bigger. So up on the right side of the different pictures there, it says today, May 7th, and then again on today. So what we just heard was Donald Trump today. We'll hear him on May 7th, and then Kash Patel again from today's press conference, or what was today's press conference when this went out, the one we just covered. Here, check this out.
we're not going to let it happen anymore. We're not going to take it.
No, Eddie's very talented. Crime is down in Washington, D.C. Street crime, violent crime by 25%.
Oh, that's fucking weird. That is weird that you would say that it's down 25% violent crime, street crime, because it sounds to me like you just announced the federal fucking takeover, the federal fascist takeover of the police force because of the egregious amounts of crime in our nation's capital. So it's funny how we can juxtapose these two things and put these things side by side to see the bullshit of this administration.
And it's people have seen, they've noticed a big difference.
And the murder rates are plummeting.
The murder rates are fucking plummeting, ladies and gentlemen. The lowest in 30 years, thanks to this administration. This is what are you thinking? It's all because this administration that the crime rate is so low and the murder rate is so low. There's no crime. Oh yeah, then why are you fucking taking over the fucking Metropolitan Police Department?
We are now able to report that the murder rate is on track to be the lowest in U.S. history, in modern recorded U.S. history, thanks to this team behind me and President Trump's priorities.
And this was the same press conference. This is as they're announcing the fascist federal takeover of the fucking police force in our nation's capital and sending in the National Guard, the fucking military. This is the same press conference. Like, how do you put two and two together here and come out with four? How is that possible?
Okay, so the first clip was Donald Trump yesterday's press conference. Sounded impaired, really staying on script. Then you had him on May 7th of this year. And then Kash Patel saying this yesterday. So it's just bananas how he sits there and does that. And I'm sure Fox News, they're like, oh, you can't go to DC. I think, and this is a personal opinion, and I understand that this is a conspiracy theory, but the whole thing strikes me as odd that big balls would be the ones saving someone and then get beaten up. And then now all of a sudden Trump can militarize DC and take over
what the fuck are the chances that it just so happens that the one instance, the one fucking act they're using as justification for this entire federal takeover is the fact that Big Balls, the guy that we know that was working for Doge as Big Balls, was actively attempting to, I don't know, save someone like some big fucking hero. And then it was the assault perpetrated upon him that, again, sparked the outrage in conservative fucking media. I don't know. Like, it's just, what are the chances of that happening? That's fucking, that's convenient.
At least it's a little fishy for my taste. I don't know. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, when I first heard it, Big Balls, I was like, what? And then you and I read the article. It was two 15-year-olds, one boy, one girl. And we were.
And I'd just like to say that fucking this guy stole my nickname. I don't know where he gets off thinking that he can steal my childhood nickname, but my mom has very often told me that my childhood nickname when I was little was Big Balls Magruder. All right. So I don't know where this motherfucker gets off trying to steal my nickname there, Chief, but I've seen pictures of me being bathed in the sink, all right? So I got the fucking pics to back it up. I don't know if you do, but this guy does. Sorry, just kidding.
Hilariously said, my take from that is that Big Balls got beat up by a girl. That's what I took from the article. Whether Big Balls got beat up or not, and who knows what all of the stuff surrounding it are. I mean, maybe Big Balls was the provocateur here and they saw it as an opportunity. Regardless, what you have here is documented lying. But MAGA in particular, these people are very scared, very easily scared, and very easily triggered with a big growing list of things that they're scared of.
Which is exactly what Fox News has preyed upon for so many years now. And what right-wing media does so well is they take out that one little fucking story, that one aspect in daily life that they think that they can blow up and amplify that will most scare or affect or fucking get people in the public thinking about their lives themselves and how it could affect them. And they amplify that to no end. And every fucking right-wing station talks about it and beats it like it's a fucking dead horse until it's just the only thing that's talked about out there. And it's actually taken as fact, right? I mean, they're so good at pulling these little fucking culture war things out of the zeitgeist and blowing it up into such fucking stories that it allows the federal government to take over, or at least the justification they think to take over the police force in our nation's capital.
One thing they have been primed and propagandized to be very scared of are cities. And they use the word inner cities, which is a trope meaning Black people. And Donald Trump uses the word thug a lot. Thug is a trope referring to Black men. And so this type of fear mongering with immigrants, because now he can't scare them too much about immigrants because his big flex is we have zero border crossings, zero, because I'm so good at the border.
Right. So now when you say you got zero crossings, that means you need to find some other target, right? You need to find somebody else to get your base to salivate over and to get them to worry about now that you've apparently told them that you've gotten rid of all the illegal crossings at the southern border now.
And so now they have to move on to which people with melanin they're picking on. And then they'll move on to, as Fox News covered.
Bob says Big Balls got beat up by two 15-year-olds. I didn't read the details of the actual story that he was involved in. Oops, sorry. But Bob says Big Balls got beat up by two 15-year-olds, which would be fucking pretty funny. Oh, thank you, Berkeley. Thank you so much. Keep on keeping on, B. Busy work morning, so I'll listen to the full show later, but wanted to share my support. Thank you so much for doing so. Hope you get all your work done, my man. Thank you for checking in, and keep kicking ass at work, my brother, like I know you do. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Thank you, everybody that's contributing. All right, let's see. I know they play a clip here of a little bit of the press conference. I want to see what they show here. I'm going to skip ahead just a touch.
Everybody, he's not intending to leave.
I could not have set up this next clip better myself because we heard it from his own mouth.
We're going to have the same thing here. But then I'm going to look at New York in a little while. Let's do this. Let's do this together. Let's see. It's going to go pretty quickly. And if we need to, we're going to do the same thing in Chicago, which is a disaster. We have a mayor there who's totally incompetent. He's an incompetent man.
So we're talking, I just want to make this clear. We are talking about the federal takeover, the fascist federal takeover, the authoritarian federal takeover of police forces throughout this country in blue fucking states, in blue cities only, because of their, the opposition they have to the policies of the party. Because he doesn't like somebody, he doesn't like a governor, he doesn't like the statistician, he doesn't like this or that, he doesn't like that policy or whatever the fuck reason he's going to give. This is literally the federal takeover of the police in blue cities, talked about right here openly by the president of the United States, saying, hey, we'll do this in fucking New York, Baltimore, Oakland. We'll do this in Boston. Anywhere we don't like somebody or something happens that we don't like, will give us justification to send in the National fucking Guard. Yeah, LA, San Francisco. Yeah, sanctuary cities will be first on the list, Triplia. You're 100% right. 100% right. I mean, this is serious shit. This is the definition of the fascism that we said was going to come. Right? And now this leading into Trump's fucking, bullshit rhetoric that he keeps popping up every now and again about 2028 and running again and being 28 points up in the polls, some fucking fake poll that he's talking about. I wouldn't put it past him. I know there's no legal fucking route to it. And I know he knows that, but that's never stopped him before, has it?
And we have an incompetent governor there. Pritzker's an incompetent. His family threw him out of
sorry, I got to probably put that on the screen for you. This is where he goes after J.B. Pritzker.
business, and he ran for governor. And now I understand he wants to be president. But I noticed he lost a little weight, so maybe he has a chance. You know, you never know what happens. But Pritzker's a gross incompetent guy thrown out of the family business.
Okay, enough. First of all, again, he's slurring. He sounds impaired. For him to talk about incompetence,
I just think, I mean, I'm not going to disagree here because obviously I'm not a medical professional. I don't know there, but having covered Donald Trump enough and seen enough of his speeches, everything he's said pretty much for the last 10 years, I just think that's his fucking age. I don't know if he's on more of the medication that he normally takes. I don't know. Maybe he fucking had one too many Diet Cokes or not enough Diet Cokes or something like that. But I just think this is his age literally catching up with him. His slurred speech is a constant now. His inability to recall facts is a constant now. His inability to recall names and remember where people are in the room is a constant now. Right? So, I mean, she could very well be right, but I'm just saying I'm not seeing an overwhelming example or show of evidence to say that he's like definitely impaired through some substance or something like that. That's all.
I'm like, he clearly has no idea how incompetent he is. And then the hubris to call JD Pritzker, he says he's lost weight, and point out his weight. Like, Donald Trump does not have a mirror at the White House. I'm convinced. But we have JD Pritzker's response. JB Pritzker, I apologize. Pritzker. Donald, thanks for the compliment. Let's not lie to the public. You and I both know you have no authority to take over Chicago. By the way, where are the Epstein files?
And JB Pritzker has been doing a great job, especially with his help with the Texas situation, the Texas House Democrats there. He's been doing a great job even before that with his rhetoric, standing up to Donald Trump and Donald Trump's regime. I know it's kind of heavy on progressives to weigh the fact that he's a billionaire, but also seemingly fighting for the working class people in this country. But, any help right now, any lending hands, especially from somebody that has a seat in power, somebody that has financial backing, is absolutely happily accepted. So I hope JB Pritzker continues to kick some ass rhetorically and with his policies that he continues to show and put in place there.
This is all I can go two ways, and maybe it's both. I believe he's trying to distract from the Epstein files because that's the first time we've seen Pam Bundy's face in a long time. And then my second thing is he knows he's going to lose the midterms. He knows it. And so
it is, I agree with her absolutely that this is another attempt at a distraction of the Epstein files and the Epstein cover-up and the Epstein conspiracy, but it's a very fucking serious one, right? This is no longer just kind of throwing some bullshit out in the wind, talking about Obama and Russiagate and trying to get that to stick, even though that's not even coming anywhere close to sticking. We've talked about the dangerous aspect as to Tulsi Gabbard releasing the files that she released and the intelligence officers and agents that puts in danger, and the routes in which they gathered their intelligence are being put in danger by the release of these, the continued release of these files that show absolutely nothing that Tulsi Gabbard and the Trump administration are claiming that they show. But again,
trying to militarize U.S. cities so that we cannot have a free and fair midterm election.
Here's my question. Why did the Chiron not say, when they're all standing in Washington, D.C., talking about this crime infestation in Washington, D.C., why does the Chiron not say, convicted felon and his sycophants say crime out of control in Washington, D.C. since his inauguration? Because the criminals are on the stage.
Right.
That is the problem. And when you saw January 6th, and we all saw it, and it's been whitewashed over on Fox News. I just want to point out how stupid the average Fox viewer is.
I'll let her finish this point, and then we'll go on to our next clip. I appreciate these ladies and their take on this.
They know that Fox News paid $1 billion to the voting machine company for lying, and they still watch it. And I want to ask every American right now, imagine if Black people, like 90% Black people did January 6th, and they were talking about hanging J.D. Vance. What would have happened? How long would it have taken for support to come in? And then this guy, the crime spree in D.C. is when after he got inaugurated, he pardoned violent criminals that beat up cops, that wanted to hang the vice president, that took a shit in the Capitol, but yet all these people are patriots. And another guy who had on a Camp Auschwitz t-shirt. Well,
nothing to come against on that one. She's absolutely 100% right there. But again, distraction or not, this is absolutely something that we need to take extremely seriously, because any power is given to Pam Bondi, any power is given to Pete Hegseth, who knows what these people are capable and what they'll do with those powers. Again, when you have the leader of this country instructing the police force they've given more power to be even more brutal and violent, above and beyond what we've seen ICE do with their new raids in the fucking Home Depot parking lots and Lowe's parking lots, and trying to go to schools now. I know this was something that we talked about earlier. I'll put this up on the screen here. This was from earlier, somebody putting on, and this is what I want people to do. Continue to film and follow these fuckers. Continue to film and follow ICE. Hashtag film and follow wherever they go. So this is just somebody where they're putting out on social media these people's presence and where they are, and that very well could have stopped or saved somebody of that day from going to school and getting abducted, or somebody's parents from getting abducted in the fucking school drop-off line. So this stuff right here definitely goes a long way in helping. Somebody saw this on social media and said, fuck, well, you're not going to school today. No way. No way. Not with your last name. Not with the way you look. They'll round you up in a heartbeat, and I'll never see you again. So continue to do this shit. Continue to film and follow these fuckers. So check this out. This is at Arleta High School in California. Unmarked cars. Can't see what that says. It says police. Does it say Border Patrol? Yeah, U.S. Police, U.S. Border Patrol, unmarked vehicles. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, roughly 6 to 10 agents. Looks like they're kind of congregating before the, masks, all wearing masks. Where's the license plate? Where's the license plate? Get the plate. Oh, they got somebody in custody. It looks like right here. They got somebody in custody. I didn't even see that. Another unmarked vehicle. Yep, just a day in the life of ICE. Fucking running around with a mask, taking fucking non-violent people off the streets for going to school, going to work. Fucking unbelievable. Unfucking believable. It really is that what the shit we're seeing. The federal takeover of the police force in our nation's capital. Meanwhile, fucking ICE is running rampant through this country, rounding up any individual that they want, using any means that they see fit in any establishment that they want to go into, regardless of their fucking access to that or legal requirements to getting a warrant. Rounding people up in Home Depot parking lots that are literally sitting there trying to get a fucking job for the day, trying to literally help society, to further society, to either paint something, build something, work for somebody, manicure a lawn, take care of somebody's home, whatever the fuck it may be, that ends up being a benefit to society. They're rounding those people up. Meanwhile, they're letting, the actual convicted sex traffickers and pedophiles off on work release assignments, into cushy fucking new prisons that they're not supposed to be in. So it goes a long way in showing you what this administration actually thinks of these people, actually thinks of fucking sex crimes and sex traffickers. It's fucking disgusting. Absolutely fucking disgusting. And again, going along with Donald Trump's, demagoguing and demeaning of Ukraine on the world stage in that press conference there, the fascist press conference that we saw. This just goes hand in hand with the Russian frontline breakthroughs and the risk of them that we've been seeing on the battlefield lately. And there's multiple stories, multiple articles that we can see here pertaining to. Oops, sorry. Let me just see here. Let's see here. I'm getting a few more things on the live update. Social media firestorm erupted. We did that one already. Reporter, he said it's guns on the streets that's causing the problem. You're concerned that the DOJ's funding cuts to gun violence prevention programs undermine. Janine Perro says no. And then this is the streets of Washington, D.C. today. Oh, okay. Yep. Let me see. So, yep, that's probably good to show. Appreciate that, Mel. So the streets of D.C. today. And I told you that there were already reports of the National Guard reporting to Washington, D.C. already. And here's just a little bit of the proof to go on and further that here.
Media, behind the planners. Sir, you too, behind the planners.
I mean, it's really hard to fucking put that into words, right? It's hard to imagine. I know it's not the first time we've seen this. I know we saw this in LA, and I know that's something that we've been warning about. But to actually see the deployment and the use of our own military forces, people that joined the military to, again, uphold, support, and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that put their lives on the line every single day, whether it be just in training or in mission circumstances, to again make sure that we can lead the free lives that we lead. And thank you, you're heard. Appreciate that. So our local ad from the school superintendent reassuring families that they have their back in Central Valley. I have seen a lot of schools have been stepping up and doing the right thing. I've seen a lot of superintendents making messages saying, hey, you're not allowed on the premises unless you're a direct family member or a guardian of these children. You're not going to come in here and just request to see random children in schools and expect us to comply with that. So you're absolutely right, you heard. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for your contributions, and thank you so much for your insights into this story. I appreciate that. But yeah, just a little bit, of fucking what's going on. I mean, there's nothing really more you can say. It's just the military being deployed in our nation's capital to suppress an entire political movement, to suppress an entire political party. That them being the Democrats at every turn. So you got U.S. citizens, legal immigrants, legal asylum seekers, pregnant women, father of Marines being rounded up and beaten by ICE. At the same time, you have Donald Trump releasing and unleashing the federal the federal powers and the United States military and the National Guard upon our own nation's capital, above and beyond what he did in L.A. And we saw he had the Marines on the ready in LA too. So he actually goes on in that press conference to say specifically he'll have no problem sending in the military. Of course, National Guard being military, but what he means is the actual, he's trying to specify that as being the actual military. I'll put in quotes because I believe it all to be the, one and the same, people giving up their lives and their freedom to support and defend democracy and the Constitution of this country. But he will, try to say that the Marines, the Army, thus that they're on a different level. And that's the real military is what he's trying to get across when he says in that statement, in that press conference, I'll have no problem sending in the military. And he says, well, I know the National Guards, but no, the real military. So you can tell what he actually thinks of military service members and the sacrifices that they fucking have to, put on the line in order to do and to serve this country in a way that, keeps us safe, make sure that we stay free in this country. The suckers and losers not wanting to get his hair wet, going to the World War I cemetery, the shit that he said, that he said about John McCain being a war hero that was shot down over Vietnam, spent time at the Hanoi Hilton, was tortured to a point where he lost physical mobility in his arm. That was something that Donald Trump continuously attacked him for, was the lack of mobility in his arm. Again, I think there was one time where he was supposed to raise his hand to vote on something, and Donald Trump mocked him for that, mocked him for being captured, said he doesn't like people that were captured. He likes people that weren't captured. But unfortunately, not unfortunately, but this is all being said by somebody that used bone spurs as an excuse for several deferments to not have to go into the military and serve himself. So if that doesn't fucking piss you off, I don't know what does. But yeah, this is talking about and this is just a quick clip, and hopefully it talks about says it's talking about the deployment, but hopefully it talks about the Russian breakthrough just real quick. Let me see if I can play this for you. Hit that like button for me, please, and thank you. Subscribe to the channel. It's free to subscribe. It's really just one click. Subscribe. You're in. That's all you got to do. If you want to go above and beyond, you can hit the alert bell that lets you know when I'm live. If you want to go a step beyond that, you can contribute by by sharing a super chat, super sticker, milestone, gifting memberships, sending a Venmo up in the corner of a buck or two goes a long way in helping the channel. Let's see what goes on here.
All right, Garrett, let's pivot for a moment here because all of this coming as the president made some news overnight on the tariff front, specifically with China. What more can you tell us about that?
Yeah, just hours before the current tariff truce with China was set to expire, the president signed an order extending it.
Oh, Taco's backing off again, ladies and gentlemen. The taco is in the house. Luckily, it's Tuesday, so it's Taco Tuesday. I need to get some I need to get some festive fucking some festive music I can play on Taco Tuesdays for Donald Trump. I don't have the time. I have this,
Eating
though.
the dogs, the people that came in, they're eating the cats, they're eating the pets of the people that live there.
Well, apparently Donald Trump has eaten nothing but tacos because another deadline that he's pushing past, another deadline he's walking back, another fucking tough stance that Donald Trump is no longer taking because he said, "Oh, they're negotiating in such a fabulous way that I don't see any reason to impose this deadline." Just another fucking taco moment, right? I have a tune in mind. Perfect. I appreciate it. So the Taco Man is back in effect. Now, I don't know why. It kind of bugs me that this is an article about the possible Russian frontline breakthroughs, and they're putting in a clip talking about tariffs. I don't know why they do that. That really makes no sense to me. It kind of bugs me, but I'll go on to read just a few of these paragraphs here to kind of get you up to speed, up to date on what's going on. Because again, it not only is it important to cover what Donald Trump is saying, what Volodymyr Zelensky is saying, what Vladimir Putin is saying, and what's going on as far as the negotiations and the peace talks, but what's actually taking place on the front lines, what's actually taking place night in and night out. On the battlefield is absolutely important as well. So Russian forces may have punched a small but significant hole through Ukraine's front lines. Kyiv supporting military analysts warned Tuesday, a development that could give Vladimir Putin a boost ahead of his Alaska summit with President Donald Trump. This 100% afforded to Vladimir Putin, afforded to the Russian military at the hands and at the behest of Donald Trump's deadlines. So Donald Trump not being forceful, Donald Trump giving the Russian military ongoing deadlines and ongoing 2 weeks and 6 weeks and 50 days and 10 days has allowed them to get the buildup in place to perpetrate and get this breakthrough going just before these peace talks, which again will give them an added step, an added seat, right, and some added bonus at the negotiating table when it comes to these negotiations. And this is all at the hands and because of the weakness of Donald Trump in this fucking United States administration. Advanced units have pushed farther into Ukrainian-held territory in the Donetsk region, creating two narrow 10-mile prongs near the battlefield hotspot of Pokrovsk, according to watchdogs, including Ukraine's Deep State and Washington's Institute for Study of War, two of the top open source teams tracking the war's battlefield developments. Expert observers supportive or at least sympathetic to Kyiv are deeply worried that these forays could expand into a full-scale breakthrough for the Kremlin, already claiming he is winning this war and refusing to stop fighting unless Ukraine surrenders. Putin could use such a development to lobby for an even more favorable peace deal in Alaska. Quote, "Guys, we are in trouble here," end quote. Rima Zuraitis, an American enlisted as a medic in the Ukrainian armed forces, posted to X, "While Putin and Trump keep everyone distracted, Russia has broken through our lines in Pokrovsk. The situation is critical. Though small, the Russian breakthroughs represent a far quicker land grab than either side has managed in months. The concern for Ukraine is that Russia would be able to expand outward into poorly defended parts of Donetsk. The advance may also have cut off a crucial resupply highway to Ukraine's fortress city of Kramatorsk, according to those watching the top troop movements." Pasi Parolyan, an analyst with Finland's Blackbird Group, which tracks the conflict, told NBC News that if Russia does break through and consolidate, it could be very bad for the Ukrainians. This push may have been timed ahead of Putin's Trump summit. He added, "The Russians have had a tendency to intensify military operations in support of ongoing negotiations, so the current events would fit into the picture quite well. We don't have enough information yet to be sure. The next 28 to 48 hours will be likely crucial in whether Ukraine is able to snatch the Russian advantage before Moscow reinforces these advanced units," he posted to X earlier. Clearly, the Ukrainians have a crisis on their hands. A Ukrainian military spokesperson told NBC News that the breakthroughs were being made only by small groups of Russian infiltrators who are being quickly found and destroyed rather than larger units capable of taking and controlling territory. Viktor Tregubov, spokesperson of Ukraine's Dnipro strategic group of troops, downplayed the severity of the maneuvers. Quote, of course, the situation there is and remains difficult, and the fighting in this region is the most intense compared to the other sections on the front line, he told NBC News. However, the Ukrainian troops are making every effort to ensure that even those groups of Russians who managed to infiltrate through the first lines are destroyed as soon as possible, which is what happens. The severity of the situation was made clear by the first Azov Corps, seen as amongst the most adept fighters Ukraine has, announcing Tuesday it had been deployed to the region. All eyes on Alaska. The question is, who is winning this war will be a key point of Trump's summit with Putin on Friday. The American leader told reporters in the Oval Office on Monday that he would know probably within the first 2 minutes whether his Russian counterpart wanted peace or not. That's a fucking joke. The amount of times that Donald Trump has gone on camera to say that he knows that Vladimir Putin doesn't want peace because he talks about it with a smile on his face, and then Donald Trump goes home and he sees that Kyiv's been bombed again and again. So for him to say that he'll know that this is just a big fucking show, a big fucking joke, and absolutely nothing that should be taken seriously, not a word coming out of Donald Trump's mouth. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has not been invited. That's another reason why this should not be taken seriously. He wasn't part of it. Trump said he wasn't. He's been there for 3.5 years. Nothing's happened, creating Europe-wide panic that its Kyiv interest will be disregarded by Washington and Moscow. This is the train station and Christian Orthodox Church lie in ruins after Russian bombing in Konstantinivka, Ukraine on Monday. Again, just showing the ongoing battle, the ongoing destruction perpetrated by Russia, who we are now trying to agree with in land swaps and to appease their territorial expansionism taken by force and illegalities with territory in the Ukrainian fucking sovereign land. Let's see here. Indeed, Russia has been making slow grinding gains, but only while throwing masses of soldiers into its so-called meat grinder, with 100,000 killed since the start of the year, according to the Secretary of State Marco Rubio last month. I'm sure it's much higher. These are experts who follow this war who believe that if Ukraine can hold out into next year, Russia's war machine might not be able to continue the war with such extreme losses. A breakthrough of the Ukrainian lines would allow Putin to present the Trump case to Trump, a case that he has forward momentum and thus must be recognized as such in the terms of any deal. That's what I've been talking about, to try to give them a more favorable standing in these negotiations. Not only what we're talking about here, but also just Trump's rhetoric, talking about the military victories in the past of Russia, talking about how they're a warring nation, talking about how Viktor Orban said there's no way Ukraine can beat them, and it's a stupid question to even ask that. This is just building the stance of Russia ahead of these negotiations and making it more difficult for Ukraine to get what they rightly deserve in these negotiations. It's unbelievable. It's literally ass backwards, the opposite of what you would want your leader to be doing, or somebody that you claims to support your country to be doing. It's fucking egregious. It really is. So, speaking of egregious, I'm not sure if you've read or heard about this. I'm sure you've had, because it's been making its way through the news. But Israel and the IDF explicitly has once again carried out assassinations of journalists, this time being the Al Jazeera journalist and 4 of his colleagues, Anas al-Sharif. This is a Democracy Now! Clip. Excuse me, let me just put this on the screen for you. This is a Democracy Now! Clip describing and detailing what has happened here. So I want to see if we can get into a little bit of this, because I find this to be hugely important, and again illustrates and exemplifies the genocidal brutality, the ongoing destruction that is being perpetrated by Israel, by the Israeli government, by Benjamin Netanyahu, and by the IDF. And I know that we saw protests in and around Tel Aviv, in and around Israel, against Benjamin Netanyahu's plan to occupy Gaza. But, I mean, I think we can categorize that as a little bit too little, too late. Great to see that there are still some people that oppose what Netanyahu is trying to do over there. But I'm sorry, the videos of Israeli settlers still sitting and continuing to sit in front of the aid trucks that are trying to get into Gaza, the ongoing Israeli settlers that continue to steal homes from Palestinians, the ongoing videos and the numerous amount of videos that I've seen Israeli citizens make calling for the abject and utter destruction of the Palestinian people on a whole just puts off a completely different vibe for me. And I know that I can separate, as I want the globe to do, separate America from Donald Trump, separate the Americans from Donald Trump and his policies. I am still able, and I still agree with separating the Israeli population, the Israeli public, from the actions and policies of its government. But the lack of action taken against its government after seeing what's been perpetrated, the videos, the ongoing actions of stopping aid, again, just go to put a very bad taste in people's mouths. And you can actually see why it's hard for people now. It's becoming increasingly more difficult to separate the two. Right. So this is just another story that will absolutely and should absolutely outrage you. Again, this is a conflict in which over 230 journalists have been murdered. 230 journalists have been murdered in this conflict, a conflict in which Israel is not even allowing independent international journalists into the conflict zone to accurately report on this conflict. So that just goes to show in which the amount of destruction the IDF has perpetrated upon journalists in this fucking area. But let's just take a look at this. Let's get into it. Let's talk about it. And, I apologize for the nature of the story, but I have to report on it. So here we go. Please hit that like button.
Democracy Now!, democracynow.org. I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez. Global condemnation is mounting over Israel's assassination of one of the most prominent journalists in Gaza.
Notice how they're, rightly so, Amy Goodman here, directly calling it an assassination. Because guess what? Israel's not even denying it. They're taking credit for it, and they're trying to say, as they always do, that Anas had some affiliations with Hamas, and some fucking bullshit Israeli propaganda that they're trying to put out. We'll see if she covers that in here. Again, I'm watching this for the first time with you guys.
Correspondent Anas al-Sharif, along with 4 of his colleagues at the network and another freelance journalist. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres is calling for an independent investigation after the 5 journalists were killed in a targeted Israeli strike outside.
And anybody that's watched any coverage, anybody that's seen any clips, I mean, if you've spent any time on social media or watching the news, looking at any clips or news reports coming out of Gaza, you've seen this guy's face. You have seen his reporting. It's been widespread. He's won accolades. He's won, awards in Australia and in other countries for his reporting on this. This is somebody that Al Jazeera says, no, this guy worked for us. He was a reporter for us. So this Hamas bullshit, this Hamas link bullshit, it can fucking hit the bricks.
Al-Shifa Hospital in a tent clearly marked in Gaza City. European Union officials and international press freedom groups have also denounced the assassinations. The 6th journalist, freelance reporter Mohammed Al-Khaldi, was also killed in the same strike. Minutes before the strike, Al-Sharif posted to X, quote, "If this madness does not end, Gaza will be reduced to ruins, its people's voices silenced, their faces erased, and history will remember you as silent witnesses to a genocide you chose not to stop." Unquote.
History will remember you as silent partners to a genocide you failed to stop. Now, I posted that on Blue Sky because I thought that was incredibly poignant, incredibly, moving, especially considering that this man lost his life merely minutes, merely hours after reporting this. And just how important this is to carry on, in the legacy of his reporting, to continue to carry this on, to report on the ongoing atrocities and humanitarian disaster that we face right now, and that these people face, that we report on, though, that we're forced to report on now. It's unbelievable. So let me just get that one more time, because I find that to be incredibly poignant what he said here. Listen up.
And Gaza will be reduced to ruins, its people's voices silenced, their faces erased, and history will remember you as silent witnesses to a genocide you chose not to stop. Unquote.
History will remember you as silent witnesses to a genocide you refused to stop. And I refuse to be recognized in history, to look back on my history as somebody that refused to call out a genocide, that refused to speak up when I had a voice, when I had a platform to do so. So that's why I right now fucking promise you to use my platform to raise awareness for not only the Palestinian people, the Ukrainian people, but for fucking people all over the world that are now facing humanitarian disasters, starvation, wars in Africa, Sudan, fucking Cambodia, Thailand, you name it. That's what we tried to do here. Raise awareness for these people that cannot raise awareness for themselves or struggle to raise awareness for themselves, whether it be marginalized communities inside the United States, whether it be the LGBTQIA, whether it be trans rights for trans individuals, or whether it be fucking individuals around the globe that are now faced with active fucking war perpetrated on them, active starvation perpetrated upon them. So I appreciate you guys for continuously coming back in to this show and supporting what we do here and supporting the people all over the world that need our help, that need our support, that need our voices at a time when our government is actively trying to stifle and to try to quell and to quiet voices that are in opposition of what they want.
On Monday, crowds of mourners gathered for a funeral procession for al-Sharif and his colleagues, marching from Al-Shifa to Sheikh Radwan Cemetery in central Gaza, carrying the journalists' bodies wrapped in white sheets. A dark blue flak press jacket and a Palestinian flag were placed on al-Sharif's remains. People embraced as they decried Israel's relentless targeting of journalists in Gaza. Meanwhile, at rallies and vigils worldwide, people are demanding accountability for the attack on journalists, including in Tunisia, Belfast, Dublin, Berlin, London, Oslo, Stockholm, and Washington, D.C. For more, we go to Geneva, Switzerland, where we're joined by Irene Khan, UN Special Rapporteur on Freedom of Opinion.
And add this up to what we know we've seen with, remember the, what was it, the World Health, no, was it the World Central Kitchen, right? Remember that whole, oh, thank you, Nordez. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that. Tell Roseanne and I said hello. Pass on my best wishes. Pass on my good vibes, my man. I appreciate you too. Thank you so much. But yeah, I mean, add this on to, again, the other 230, roughly 230 journalists that have been killed. The World Kitchen. What was it? I keep forgetting the name of that. What is the World's Health Kitchen? World's Kitchen. Sorry, I'm mind fought right now. Mind blank. I'm drawing a blank. Come on, hit me in the chat. World Central Kitchen. My apologies. Thank you, Jesse James. I just said it 2 seconds ago. I don't know how I forgot it that quickly. My apologies. But yeah, I mean, add that onto the numerous examples that we have of just the IDF going absolutely berserk, doing as they wish, as they choose, when they choose, with who they choose. I mean, Haaretz themselves, Israeli journalists, Israeli newspapers, Israeli fucking papers have done reports on it themselves at just how out of control the IDF is. And just how much they reflect the attitude of Benjamin Netanyahu towards the Palestinian people, as happens a lot of time in war, where the military itself will take on the role, take on the way in which their leader treats the other side, right? Hitler treated the other side with absolute contempt, right? With complete indignation, with fucking just absolutely no respect whatsoever, which is exactly the way in which his military ended up treating the people that they ran into, that they were invading. So it creeps down slowly, and in some cases not so slowly, when fucking instructed by the leader.
And expression. She served as Secretary General of Amnesty International from 2001 to 2009. Irene Khan, welcome back to Democracy Now! In late July.
And then, to can stay on this too, and just so we, can fucking drill this home as to what the right wingers think of this too. This is staying on the same subject. This is the Pretty Big Douchebag podcast, and Adam in particular, the douchebag on the left, speaking about this same subject in the Al Jazeera journalist killed by Israel. And I want you to listen to Adam's absolute fucking shit take on this, and actually kind of be surprised at maybe Vinny's somewhat base take, not giving Vinny too much credit here. But let's take a look at these assholes and see what they think about this situation too, because I was a little surprised at them covering this as well.
By the way, I'm going to end on a light video I saw last night that made me laugh that I'm going to share with you guys. What a funny prank. I think the rest of you guys are going to enjoy as well. Okay. Al Jazeera journalist Anas al-Sharif killed in Israel.
I'm sorry. Did he just lead into the wrong clip? Did he just say this was a prank and that was something that was funny? Did I catch that wrong? Did they add in the wrong clip here?
On a light video I saw last night that made me laugh.
He's going to end on a light video?
That I'm going to share with you guys. What a funny prank.
What a funny prank.
The rest of you guys are going to enjoy as well. Okay. Al Jazeera journalist Anas al-Sharif killed in Israel attack in Gaza City.
What the fuck is funny about that? Where's the fucking prank?
And
what a fucking gross way to try to cover this fucking story. I mean, I don't know if they just fucking inputted the wrong clip there, if he doesn't know what the fuck was that all about?
A 28-year-old well-known Arabic correspondent who reported extensively from northern Gaza was killed in what appears to be a targeted Israel attack on a 10-foot journalist outside the main
not
gate.
appeared to be, is a targeted assassination by the IDF.
Of Al-Shifa Hospital in Gaza City, as confirmed by the hospital director. Al Jazeera media network denounced the attack, stating it was yet another blatant and premeditated attack on press freedom amid the catastrophic consequences of the ongoing Israel assault on Gaza, which has seen the relentless.
So let me see if I can put this on the screen. So this is, I just typed this in. The Israeli Defense Forces said in a statement that it targeted Sharif, claiming that the correspondent headed a Hamas cell and was involved in the rocket attacks against Israeli targets. A Palestinian boy stands beside the destroyed Al Jazeera tent at Al-Shifa Hospital in Gaza City on August 11, 2025, which is exactly what we just saw. But fucking imagine the audacity of these assholes. Just fucking absolutely no shame whatsoever in coming out with the most ridiculous fucking propaganda. Everybody they kill, targeted or not, has some fucking affiliation with Hamas, some affiliation with this, and it's literally just so that this information doesn't continue to get out to the public. Just so that the people don't continue to see Anas's fucking reports in the actual fucking video of what's going on the ground. Thank you, JD. Appreciate you, buddy. I really do. Thank you so much, dude. Coming back, show in and show out. You are fucking absolutely amazing. Appreciate that. All right, so one more time. Just go back to this one. And this, and let the
relentless slaughter of civilians, forced starvation, and the obliteration of entire communities. The Israel military admitted targeting al-Sharif, claiming in a statement he served as the head of a terrorist cell in the Hamas terrorist organization and was responsible for advancing rocket attacks against Israel civilians and IDF troops. Tom, your thoughts on the story?
Well, there's a lot of sources that came out overnight.
And this guy does his very best. We'll kind of skip past this asshole, this old fucking curmudgeon, because he does his best to, again, whitewash the story and do his best fucking Israeli propaganda fucking spiel. But you can tell Adam is the one that really tries to put the whitewashing on this, and Vinny surprisingly kind of comes back at him a little bit. So let's see if we can get fast forward just a little bit past this asshole.
The is there, and they're pointing out that, you know, in the dirty trick department, Hamas has got quite the resume.
Right,
And
so he's leaning towards that there may be some credibility to the story put out by the IDF that this journalist, well-known journalist from Al Jazeera, has been reporting on this and has fucking won awards for his reporting on this, is somehow connected to a Hamas cell, and he's trying to lend credibility to this. And again, like I said, we'll skip past this asshole because it now goes to, I think, Adam next. So let's listen to Adam chime in here.
You know,
what's that picture, Rob?
Yeah. Well, here's what I was going to say. Maybe, where is he? He's the guy in the middle. That doesn't look anything like him. That's the guy? I don't think that doesn't look.
Vinny doesn't even believe they have the right guy on the screen.
Like the guy to me. The guy that we just saw that Rob showed, that doesn't look like that guy.
No, yes, it does. A couple years different.
That's
a couple pounds different.
Well, regardless, here's what's happening right now.
Right. The more important is listen to Adam's take on this. Listen to the fucking horrendous and fucking stupid take Adam has on this situation here. Check. And reminder, this is a targeted assassination of a journalist, of a known journalist for Al Jazeera, with his fucking 4 colleagues in the same tent, all obliterated by the IDF, who has taken responsibility for that and come out with some fucking lie about this guy being attached to Hamas. And this is fucking Adam's take here on the Pretty Big Douchebag podcast.
I just went on Amazon and I just bought a nice little journalist press kit for $19.99. What I've realized is I don't emotionally react.
What the fuck is that supposed to mean? What the fuck is that supposed to mean? Is that supposed to mean that any and everybody could just buy this off of Amazon, fly over to Gaza and start reporting on this for the last fucking several months, several years? To live amongst the fucking rubble, to live amongst the war and destruction and famine and starvation? Is that what he's trying to imply here? That this, Anas just kind of got his shit off Amazon, and that it doesn't really matter that the IDF took over this, or, took part in this, targeted assassination of a journalist without any prior reporting. We didn't hear that, the IDF had been investigating Anas for several months in his involvement in this, or this. We haven't heard any of this. This is just something that has been put out after the assassination of him and his 4 colleagues. Fucking disgusting.
The stories that come out, good, bad, or ugly. I wait for the facts to come out. Do I want to see actual journalists reporting actual real news die? Hell no. We report stories here. We know.
So apparently what he's trying to get across is Anas isn't an actual journalist. He wasn't an actual reporter that we should actually give a flying fuck that this fucking state-sponsored military has actively engaged in a fucking sponsored assassination of. Like, we should just forget about it, because according to Adam, he's not a true reporter. He's not a true journalist in his eyes.
Journalist. I do not want anybody dead, innocent journalist whatsoever. But what I've realized is that there's a lot of propaganda, and there's a lot of people who are embedded in society here who are honoring the Hamas, this guy right here, after cover, honored to stand with our crowns. So whether it was this journalist.
What the fuck are you talking about? Do you not hear the words that are coming out of your mouth, you genocidal fucking freak? Do you not understand what you're talking? You're talking about the sanctioned assassination, state-sponsored, sanctioned assassination of a journalist, regardless of whether you think he's fucking credible or not credible, from a state that is actively engaged in forcing and perpetrating a starvation, an active fucking genocide upon those people. And this guy's going to try to say that he was embedded somehow, then he got his flak jacket off of Amazon, and we shouldn't really be worried about it. I mean, this is truly fucking horrendously disgusting and bigoted shit that we're hearing here. Like, this isn't even tainted with racism. This is fucking clear-coated, painted black, and fucking shoe-shined with racism. This is.
Or the journalists you're speaking about, or any other journalist. This is who they are. I remember a story of a journalist was found in Gaza, and they were like, oh my God, we captured this guy. They went and found his house. 3 hostages were in his house. This was a journalist. So just because you're a journalist doesn't mean you're immune from.
I didn't hear that story, Adam. I'm sorry, I didn't hear that story. What about the other 230 so journalists that have been fucking murdered at the hands of the IDF or by some action caused by the IDF in Israel? What about the other 230 or so? Which, again, I think is the biggest number in any conflict in at least the last 50 years, right? Let's see here. What can I tell? Journalists killed in Gaza. I think it's some crazy statistic like that. Let's see here. So this is, I'll put this on the screen for you guys. Let's see here. So this says the killing of journalists, the overwhelming Palestinian, other acts of violence against journalists marks the deadliest period for journalists in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict since 1992, and the deadliest conflict for journalists in almost 3 decades. Counted 178 journalists who were killed, 176 of them Palestinian, 2 Israeli. As of June, that's on one account. Some have gone, seen the numbers climb to 217 and above. I've seen 230 and above. So fucking the killing of journalists by Israeli forces. Let's see here. The Hamas tower strike destroyed an apartment block, killing journalist offices on 10 October 2023. These are just different instances that we can look at of assassinations of journalists by the IDF. Look at this. All accounted. Anas Sharif, Mohammed Moshe, Ismail Abu Omar. The list goes on. The Haji Tower strike. The killing of journalist families, killing of Wael Daoud's family. And, I mean, the list just fucking continues to go on here. If we're actually, if anybody's actually questioning the violence perpetrated amongst journalists in this fucking conflict, look no further than the amount of people that have been killed at the hands of the IDF just for going over there and trying to report on this fucking active genocide being perpetrated by the government of Israel. All right, let's continue.
Accountability.
It gets worse. It gets fucking worse, if you can imagine.
And they weren't being interviewed about the horrors of war.
Rob, can you ask Grok if that's actually him? I'm just curious.
Okay. Vinny still doesn't think they're talking about the right guy.
Whether it was him or whether it was his best friend, the reality is this.
Oh, so just kill him if that's his best friend?
Well, here's what I love about Israel at this point. They're not even denying it. They're like, no, we went after this guy. We believe that he was a terrorist. So we took him.
That's what I love about Israel at this point. They're not denying. So this is Adam actively giving credit to Israel and the IDF for taking credit for the state-sponsored, sanctioned assassination of a journalist and his 5 colleagues or 4 colleagues. If you needed any reason, any explanation as to why I call this the Pretty Big Douchebag podcast, pretty big douchebag, pretty big dickhead, pretty big fucking whatever word you want to come up with a D, these assholes are fucking reprehensible. And you know you're reprehensible when Vinny is the one coming back with a somewhat base take as it relates to yours. So let's continue. This is fucking gross.
Come out. That's clarity to me. I don't want to see innocent people die at all. Unfortunately, it's kill or be killed in the Middle East, and some people just can't understand that. And the woke
I don't
West,
want to see innocent people die at all, but it's kill or be killed in the Middle East. That goes for journalists as well. Just want to get that on the record. This is now the PBD podcast putting it out there on one of their videos that state-sanctioned, sponsored fucking assassinations of journalists just trying to report on an ongoing conflict is something that we should tolerate, is something that is just, I don't know, a part of daily life as it pertains to the Middle East.
And the
he's right about. He's absolutely right about. But what he's failing to mention, what he's failing to recognize is that's because it's at the hands of Bibi Netanyahu, the Israeli government, and the IDF.
woke right just don't understand these people are coming to kill you, and it's kill or be killed. I'm sorry. That is what it is. Go for it, Vinny.
A fucking journalist, bro. A journo. A journo. He's not going to kill anybody. He was not there to kill anybody. What the fuck are you talking about? Do you hear the words coming out of your fucking mouth? You disgusting, vile piece of shit. You know, as the political punk says, and I don't know how he gets away with saying it, but somebody needs to take a fucking 9-iron to some of these fucking people, and I do mean on the fairway. Like, fucking, some of these people just do not deserve the fucking air in their lungs, and I'm fucking sorry. They just, some of them are just fucking, they disgust me to a point that I can't even fucking take. And this pieces of shit is fucking one of them.
Well, what's the thing that you said right before?
And listen, here you go. This is how you know you're a piece of shit, because Vinny may be on the fucking the right side of this argument.
They said that they did it because they were targeting him,
or cosplaying as journalists.
What I'm asking is, did they say that they were targeting him after the fact? Like, oh yeah, we were going after.
I don't know. You're
or
the
was it
expert on this,
an
man.
accident? No, Adam. I actually read the news. I don't sit in the car and watch the news on the way here. I actually stay up till 1 o'clock in the
All
morning.
right, so he's going at Adam. Hey, I don't fucking just sit watching the news on the way in so I can get a little piece, a little glimpse of what I'm going to be talking about. He does, you know, what he's calling his research here. So again, you can tell they're on different sides of this story, different sides of this fight right off the bat.
And I actually do my research, and I did a bunch
What'd
of
you
research.
find?
And I just found
That
out that
Hamas are nice
that they
freedom
bombed
fighters,
the
and they're
good
beautiful
talking
humans?
point. Very good talking
What'd
point.
you find?
I love the fact that when you're just asking questions, I'm either a Hamas supporter or I'm going to be anti-Semitic.
No, but go ahead.
Wow, it's funny how Vinny seems to be recognizing the right's tactics as it pertains to discussions when talking about Israel and their fucking actions, their war crimes against the Palestinian people. It's funny how Vinny seems to be coming into fucking his own here as it relates to, again, the Republicans' tactics, their rhetorical tactics in arguments, in debates about Israel's genocidal fucking tactics that they're using in this war, right?
Your point.
It's the neither. What I'm saying
I didn't
is,
bring up that.
you
just
can't
did.
even. They banned reporters from even being in Gaza. They banned international reporters.
Hello. Yep. Something that we on the left have been screaming and yelling about for fucking years now.
How are you supposed to know? Why are you banning them? If you have nothing to hide, let us see
Because
what the
these
hell's going
reporters
on.
work for a company.
Well, hey, Vinny, welcome to fucking reality. I don't know if my clap doesn't work on my soundboard anymore. Do I have a fucking something where I can clap for this asshole? Something to give him a fucking a pat? I don't know. Something, anything. How about one of these?
The town drunk.
All right, no, he's not the town drunk, but maybe. All right, anyway. But fucking welcome to reality, Vinny. Now all of a sudden recognizing, somehow coming to fucking coming to clarity here with the right fucking stupid debate tactics, and how everybody's either anti-Semitic or you're a fucking member of Hamas if you're against what Israel is doing to the Palestinian people. Right? And also the fact, what do you say? What was the last thing you said here? One more time.
company called Al
I'm
Jazeera.
not
Where's
just
Al Jazeera based out of?
But Adam, you don't just bomb
Where's
a tent
Al
with people
Jazeera
next to a
based out?
hospital and then just go, yeah, he worked for Hamas. And I'm not saying, listen,
All right,
I don't.
the Hamas talking point that no matter what happens, it's because the person was working for Hamas. It's funny how Vinny's just coming into his own here and actually realizing the bullshit, the hypocrisy of his own fucking party.
Know the facts, Adam. But what I'm saying
Period.
is, if you're
That's
not
where the
letting,
clip should end
who
right there.
has killed the most reporters, Pat? Did we do the numbers?
Syria.
Tom, what is that?
Syria did.
Yeah, this is.
Do we have that?
We can just. You can search for it. There's a
Israel
lot of
Defense Forces, Tom. That's like
But
what I'm.
there's others too. There's another.
Okay.
There's another
Oh, there's
media
others
outlet.
too. There's others too. So let's not focus on the one that we're actually having a discussion about.
But that was Maya TV and everything, and that may be parroting the IDF thing. But
So this
there's
guy-
people that are out there publishing receipts on this that appear to be receipts. I don't
Okay.
know the
What
validity of.
appear to be receipts. Okay.
But you know what? There's a heck of a lot going on here. Look, is this the first? Just do
Oh,
this
so
logic.
basically, there's too much to decipher. To fucking old curmudgeon here. There's too much to decipher. There seems to be what appears to be receipts going around that he's seen to back up what the IDF is saying. None of which Al Jazeera has been made aware of. None of which has been made available to the public. None of which was known about in the fucking years that this guy's was reporting on this conflict. In the when he was winning awards and shit. But all of a sudden, the IDF has fucking come out with this new information that somehow this old curmudgeon has seen, but nobody else has seen.
Benny, is this the first reporter to die in an armed engagement over there, to be in the wrong place at the wrong time?
In the wrong place at the
No.
wrong time? No. And actually,
so let's assume they're a reporter, not the
Okay.
first. Then why is there so much static on this one?
what do you mean?
That's what I'm asking. Why is there so much fuzz? Like somebody shook up a root
because it
beer and
only
opened
killed
it.
it only killed 5 reporters. It only killed 5.
Right, because it was a targeted, state-sponsored, sanctioned assassination of 5 fucking journalists. That's why. I mean, what are you not getting about this? What is like so fucking crazy that like why like the outrage is like, why are people so outraged about this story? No, we were outraged about the fucking World Central Kitchen people that were killed. We've been fucking outraged at the hostages that were killed by the IDF. We've been outraged at the fucking treatment of the Palestinian people. We've been outraged at every fucking turn, and rightly so, and justifiably so. And this is just another instance that again goes to show more evidence to exemplify the fucking out of control actions of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, the government, and the fucking IDF.
5 reporters reporting.
Nonchalant, just fucking callous way in which they're trying to like brush under the rug the reporting on this, and like why people are so upset that fucking people were just murdered in their tents trying to report on a war is fucking outrageous.
On what's happening on the ground.
It kind of bothers me that there's so much buzz on this reporter.
No, Tom, it shouldn't be. I don't think it's just about this reporter. I think it's just for the past 2 weeks, all I've been hearing and seeing is.
Are you saying like this is a George Floyd thing they're capitalizing off of?
Yeah, or something. And why is there so much buzz on this guy to say it was so many sources, unless the IDF is just doing the most amazing marketing between Saturday and Sunday, pushing out all these fake receipts and everybody else is pushing them, Pat?
Exactly. The people that, again, the IDF and Israel know will push out their Israeli propaganda are doing exactly what they've been trained and taught to do, which is put out the Israeli propaganda. It's not that hard to fucking figure out.
Seems weird to me. Why is it so important to say that this reporter
Vinny, I think
was there?
Do you trust Muslims more than Israel? Do you trust the report coming out of Gaza, Palestine, more than reports coming from Israel? I don't think you believe anything Israel says.
I'm not saying I don't believe
How
it.
can you? They don't allow international journalists in to fucking verify their claims, as Vinny just talked about. You dumb son of a bitch. He literally just brought that up. That's why it's so hard to believe anything on either side. One doesn't have the infrastructure anymore to even adequately report on the number of deaths that have been fucking perpetrated upon them. And the other doesn't allow actual journalists, international journalists, to independently verify so they can independently verify this information. Which is why you continue to see on a back and forth front, oh, you can't believe them? No, you can't believe them? Well, there's a fucking reason for that.
Hold on. I don't believe anything unless I'm shown the evidence. Okay. And what I've been seeing.
I don't know about that. I think there's also, like, I've never heard you make a pro-Israel argument, ever. I've never heard you make a pro-Israel argument. So to me, the reason why I'm going with this is the following. I don't know. So for me, if you came in, notice what I said when we were prepping.
So put yourself in this dickhead's shoes right now. So not knowing and having seen the reporting that you can actually clearly see that this man has put out reports for Al Jazeera before in the past, won awards, is actually on site on, reporting on the fucking conflict. And then you see him and his 4 fucking colleagues were murdered. Like, what would your first reaction be? Right? What would your first reaction be? Wouldn't you then want the IDF to show you proof? Right? Wouldn't you be calling on the IDF to show you some fucking proof? Otherwise, they should be charged with a war crime. Like, why is there any other, how can you have any other reaction to this? Like, if this is the claim that they're going to make, all right, show me the fucking proof, or you're being charged with a fucking war crime. That's not that difficult. Not that fucking difficult. And we don't have to continue with these assholes. I just wanted to show you Adam's piss poor take on that, and the fact that Vinny was actually doing some pushback in this regard on his colleague there. In this, but what else should we dive into? There is, excuse me, what else there was this here that I wanted to talk about as well. Do you guys see this? Holy shit. So this was an article in the Telegraph titled, "I was Epstein's butler for 18 years. There's no way he killed himself." Right? Trusted aide tells of life and disgraced financiers in his circle, which included Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, and Woody Allen. Jeffrey Epstein loved life too much to kill himself and was confident of securing bail before he died. His butler for 18 years has told the Telegraph. Am I over time? What time is it? 11, 12, 1. I am. Oh, fucking Christ. Did I do it again? What time did I start? 12 to 1. So I was supposed to be done in Jesus Christ. I continue to go over. I'm sorry. I'm just, for some reason, the last few shows, I've been getting the show times mixed up. Fuck. All right, so I'll end at 1:30. My apologies, Mel. That's my fault. We'll just go through this quickly. God damn it. I do it every time. I get so wrapped up in the stories. There's so much to cover. All right, so why don't we do this? So we do this, because I can bring this up as well, because Kyle Kalinske did actually a video on this one, right? Why don't I bring up his video, and that'll give us a little more insight into this, probably a little more quickly than if we covered the article ourselves. So bear with me. Sorry about that, Mod. Sorry about that, guys in the chat. Sorry, Mel. I apologize. I was, again, just like I said, so wrapped up in this madness, the fascistic press conference, the anti-Ukraine, pro-Putin fucking sentiment that he's putting out there, as well as the IDF's egregious fucking assassination of Anas al-Sharif. So I apologize. I went a little bit over. That's my fault. Let's just get into this right here. I'll share this tab instead, put this on the screen. This is just Kyle explaining a little bit about that same Guardian article that I just had on the screen there. So talking about the same thing, but I'll speed this up just a little bit, and we'll see if we can get through this. Sorry about that, guys. I do apologize again. That's my fault. I did it fucking again. Mel got me a big reminder board here that says show ends at 1 p.m. and somehow I still fucked that up. I just want to put that out there. I just want to make sure everybody knows that. There's a big white board in front of me that not only says show ends at 1 p.m., gives me a bunch of reminders to a bunch of other things that I need to do, but I still managed to fuck that one up. I want to, that's a right hand up. That's accountability here. Mel tried. She's done everything fucking possible besides walk in and punch me in the face at 1 p.m. on the dot. So sorry. My apologies. One of these days I'll get it. All right, let's get into this.
Epstein bombshell here for you. So this is reported by the Telegraph. They say, exclusive, Epstein loved life too much to kill himself and was confident of securing bail before he died. His butler for 18 years has told the Telegraph. So as far as we know, this picture that you're looking at of Epstein and his butler is the last picture of Epstein alive.
Thank you.
Damn. And look, to be fair, he looks a little bit old here. Now, some people are speculating online that this picture is fake. This picture is not fake. This guy who's his butler has a tremendous amount of evidence, and he's got pictures with a bunch of Epstein's friends, Epstein himself, pictures of Epstein's place in Paris. He was a close confidant of Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein trusted him completely, and this guy's basically coming out and telling his story. Now, before I continue, let me just say, look at what Jeffrey Epstein is wearing in this picture. Look at what he's wearing. Ladies and gentlemen, that is an IDF sweatshirt. That's what he's wearing. You're really not doing much for, the narrative that you're Mossad. If you were trying, if people were trying to debunk that, if people were trying to downplay that and act,
Yeah, clearly he's talking about the. I don't know if you can see my. Hold on, let me see if you can see my thing on the screen. But he's talking about Jeffrey Epstein's sweatshirt here, which says Israel Defense Forces. Clearly has their symbol there. That's what he's talking about.
like it's not true, man, man, they got a tough hill to climb now because this is the number one knock on him, right? And there's a lot of evidence. I mean, there's evidence of people close to Epstein that say that he admitted to them at times that he was Mossad. And that's on top of like a number of former Israeli prime ministers coming to visit him on a regular basis. I mean, he was close with Ehud Barak, right? So, damn. Damn. The last known, this is too on the nose, isn't it? The last known picture of Jeffrey Epstein alive wearing an IDF sweatshirt. Come on, man. Come on. You can't script that shit. But anyway, so his butler's like, there's no way he killed himself. No way at all. I was Epstein's butler for 18 years. There's no way he killed himself. Trusted aide tells of life in disgraced financiers' inner circle, which included Bill Clinton, Bill Gates, and Woody Allen. Jeffrey Epstein loved life too much to kill himself and was confident of securing bail before he died. His butler for 18 years.
I mean, if it's true, right? Good insight. If somebody thinks that they're securing bail, it definitely doesn't reek of somebody that's thinking about hanging themselves with their bed sheets from their fucking bunk bed, right? Somebody that's like actively excited about maybe seeing the fucking outside world again. Gives us a little bit of insight if it's true, if we can believe what the butler is to be reporting. And again, take it with a grain of salt because this asshole must have been around some fucking nasty and egregious shit in his life, and to stay by the side of Jeffrey Epstein for 18 years, one would have to question this man's fucking character, this man's judgment as well. So I just want to fucking put that out there into the zeitgeist as well. Before we start giving this guy too much credit. But if what he says is to be true as it pertains to Jeffrey Epstein being excited for making bail and stuff, that goes to show somebody that's not really on the verge of taking their own life, right?
The Telegraph. Now, this only feeds further into the speculation that Trump was the one who had him offed, because who was president when Jeffrey Epstein was offed? Who does Jeffrey Epstein also happen to have a tremendous amount of dirt on? The person who was president, right? Trump literally had to, this was reported by Michael Wolff. He said Trump had to call people in his inner circle and tell them, like, I didn't have him killed. I didn't have him killed.
Let you go, so we can't get into too much of this. But I also wanted to, like I said, this one, the work release program that also fits along with this. There's also this that I would advise you guys to listen to. This is the Daily Beast podcast, Sex Secrets of Trump, Epstein, and Andrew. There's a part here that is specifically detailing which one there? Prince Andrew, Jeffrey Epstein, and Donald Trump. Here, I got about 3 minutes. Let's see if we can dive into just a couple minutes of this. This is again the Daily Beast podcast.
This Times pointing out that it actually met him in the early 1990s. Steve Hoffenberg, who of course was very close to Epstein, says it was in 1991. And I think that what it discovered was not only...
Could we just contextualize who Steve Hoffenberg was? Because he ran the Ponzi scheme that Jeffrey Epstein worked with, was a partner alongside. Steve Hoffenberg ends up going to jail. Jeffrey Epstein manages to get out of it and takes a lot of the money, which you say in the book he spent on himself.
What I found was the relationship began earlier than they claim. It lasted much longer, and it was much deeper. I think the other thing that I found surprising was that there were more numbers for...
At every turn, we continue to find that not only was the relationship longer lasting, more detailed, more in-depth than they're willing to put on, but there's more financial involvement with other people that have ties to Epstein as well surrounding these two. So with every fucking podcast, every new newspaper article, every new magazine clipping that comes out with new information, every new Midas Touch video that they dig back up from years ago, or Howard Stern, or fucking, whatever show or pageant Donald Trump's involved in, we just continue to learn more and more about Jeffrey Epstein's relationship with Donald Trump, the relationship of Epstein's best friends and Donald Trump's best friends with each other, and Ghislaine Maxwell's relationship with both Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. Just more and more continues to come out. And this is, we're not going to get through a ton of this, I know, but I would definitely advise you guys to at least take a look at this section depicting more of Prince Andrew, Jeffrey Epstein, and Donald Trump's relationship. If you're not going to listen to the whole thing, but if you have the time, check it out. Again, the more that we know about this, the more information that you have, the more able you will be in a debate, in an argument with somebody, whether your family, online, wherever it may be. Let's get them. So let's get in the position where we can just fucking hammer them down with all this information, which we kind of are at that point now.
Ferguson in the Black Book than there were for actually Andrew.
So, as we know, Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump were close friends for many years. Can you talk about the relationship between Prince Andrew, Donald Trump, and Jeffrey Epstein?
Yes, well, I mean, certainly Donald Trump and Andrew were close. They moved in very much the same circles. They had the same interests in golf, money, and sex. One of the diplomats at the New York consulate said that Andrew was always hanging around the consulate, basically looking to do things, trying to bring Epstein in on any of his business trips. And I mean, they were shocked in the embassy when they were caught overheard talking about one of Trump's favorite words, pussy. And Trump was...
That was the report that we talked about. The Daily Beast came out with, I think, was it last week, a few days ago, detailing Prince Andrew and Donald Trump's discussion about, as like you just heard the gentleman say, pussy, right?
Swapping a list of masseurs with Andrew that he could use when he came to New York. So
swapping list of masseurs, right? Masseuses that he could use when he came to New York.
I mean, it was a pretty buddy-buddy relationship. Andrew and Trump, of course, though Trump has denied knowing anything about Andrew. I mean, there's plenty of photographic evidence with them together in New York, in Mar-a-Lago, and elsewhere, and indeed in London. So, I mean, again, they're all distancing themselves, but they were all part of the same little group. And they're pictures of Andrew with Trump and Epstein. And so I don't think anyone can deny these people were extremely close, but in a particular period at the beginning of the century.
Andrew, just...
All right. So, again, I would advise you guys to check out that detailing more about Donald Trump's relationship with Prince Andrew, Jeffrey Epstein. Again, that goes along with the bombshell that we've been talking about here, where Ghislaine Maxwell has been reportedly allowed and approved for work release, granted work release clearance, if you can fucking believe that, right? I mean, if that's just something that fucking doesn't go to show you exactly what the Trump administration thinks of her sex crimes and her as a person, I don't know what will, allowing her special access, special treatment. There was also, again, this one that we were talking about here, the Telegraph article of Epstein's butler saying there's absolutely no way he killed himself. So let's get into, I appreciate you guys. I really appreciate you do stick with me as I go over. I do apologize for that. If I stepped on anybody's toes, it was not on purpose. I, for some reason, thought I was going to 1:30 today. So let me get into thanking everybody for their kind contributions to the channel, and I will get you guys on your way to go on and support other independent content creators like myself who bring you the news, who bring you some value, some entertainment, some laughter, whatever it may be. And I'll let you guys continue on with your day. So first and foremost, Dutch Antifa Dragon, thank you so much for becoming a new YouTube member. I really, really appreciate you for joining the family. Hope you find a welcome spot in our community. Thank you, Greg, for being here for 15 months. Keep me awake at work, please. I hope I succeeded in that. I hope you're not driving a vehicle either. Thank you, Nordez, for the 5 gifted. As always, my brother, I really do appreciate it. Sheldon, thank you so much. Obscenity Sam, let's fucking go, my brother. Friends, if you ain't exercising your Second Amendment rights already, I'm going to respectfully suggest you consider reconsidering that. Respectfully, as said by Obscenity Sam there. I appreciate you for your contributions, my man. Jackie2149 has been a member for 2 months, and I appreciate her very much for being here. Back to work. I'll be listening. Thank you so much, Jackie, for listening while you're at work. I appreciate you making that extra effort. I missed my weekly tithing on Sunday. Can I get an amen? Amen for that weekly tithing. Thank you so much, Moms Russo. I appreciate you very, very much. Thank you, Kathleen, for being here for 13 months. I can't believe it's been over a year, right? Fucking time flies when you're covering dickheads, right? Time flies when you're covering fascist fuckbags. It's crazy. WW, one way to end a war. Stop. That's true. Putin could very, very much exercise that option if he wanted to. Lisa's been here for 8 months. Thank you so much, Lisa, for your love. Right back at you, to you and the entire chat. I appreciate you guys for your kind contributions. Berkeley, keep on keeping on. B, right back at you. Literally, thank you so much for your kind $5 contribution to the channel. Tom, let's fucking go, brother. We're all with you. We're all with you, Tom. It's very much a mutual feeling that we all have towards him. So thank you so much. I appreciate you for being here, as always, and your contributions. When he yells about the homeless being less than American citizens, he is blowing smoke. Most homeless people are American citizens that need help, and most homeless American citizens are people that work and have jobs, as opposed to what the Republicans would have you think, conservatives would have you believe are just lazy bums who just sit and want to take drugs on the side of the road all day. That is not the case. I think somewhere in the range of 60% actually have full-time jobs. That still does not allow them to put a roof over their head, food on the table, gas in the tank, or anything like that. which is a shame, especially in the richest country that this fucking planet has ever seen. Thank you, Jeff, for your kind contributions, and you're absolutely right. You're heard. Appreciate you for your $20 contributions to our local ad from the superintendent, reassuring families that they have their back in the Central Valley. This is pertaining to the ICE trying to get access to different schools in the area to take people out of the schools. So it's good to see the schools are stepping up and protecting the kids as they should be. Thank you, Nordez, again for another 5 gifted, you fucking incredible bastard. Thank you, JD, for the profanity bonus as well. As always, you're the best. A bonus show bonus. Let's fucking go. Thank you so much. I know I went overtime. I'm an idiot. Literally says right there, show ends at 1 p.m. Like, that's how dumb I am. Somebody has to put the sign in front of my face, and I still fuck it up. Might have smelled. Just kiss Boston Brian at 1 p.m. That is better than Andy. Yeah, she had her own way. Luckily the camera isn't a two-way camera because she had her own way of coming in and showing me that I was overtime. Thank you, Locomotion. The book entitled "The Fall of House of York." Did I miss something there? The book entitled "The Fall of the House of York." Maybe that's just pertaining to something in the comments, but I appreciate your contribution no matter what, Locomotion. I really, really do. That's a cool fucking train that you got there too. Appreciate that. I like trains. Thank you, Jerry. I appreciate you. Heroyam Slava, right back to you. And best goddamn mods in the Lobsterverse, says JD, and I cannot agree with him more. You guys have been utterly fantastic over our growth here at Blunt Politics. We hope to continue our growth, and it's literally only going to be because of the help and contributions of you fine people who help continue to make this show a possibility. Again, this is full-time. This is what I do, and you guys are in control. So I hope you like what you're seeing. I hope you like what you're hearing. Until tomorrow's show, I will see you tomorrow night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. on the Pacific Coast. And don't forget, next Wednesday, we start our This Space simultaneous broadcast. So make sure you're subscribed to This Space. Make sure you're subscribed to the great creators that the Letter Hack has signed up over there. I appreciate you guys for all that you've been doing and continue to do. Get out of your seats. Get into the streets. Find your nearest rally, find your nearest protest. Stay loud, stay proud, stay aggressive, but keep your head in a swivel. Make sure you're staying safe out there. All right, I appreciate you guys. Continue to kick ass. Until next time, until tomorrow night, I'm Boston Brian. This has been Blunt Politics, the political podcast sifting through the bullshit, lies, propaganda, the mainstream media, the Republican Party, and Donald Trump, and breaks it down for the normal, everyday, working class individuals that make this country run, like you and like me, because that's who's affected by these policies. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. I appreciate you very much. Take care of yourself, please. All right. Stay safe out there. All right. I'll see you tomorrow. Appreciate you. Later, guys. And thank you so much to Nancy Hayes and Claudia and Jennifer and Damon for their kind contributions on Venmo as well. Thank you, mods. You guys are fucking fantastic. I'll see you guys tomorrow, all right? Keep kicking ass.
To my hands, if they're small, something else must be small.
Always calling me Little Marco. And I'll admit, the guy, he's taller than me, he's like 6'2", which is why I don't understand why his hands are the size of someone who's 5'2".
Say mud, I said crud. You fall into some crud or something?
Slava Ukraine, Heroyam Slava, Free Palestine, fuck ICE, abolish ICE, fuck them all.
Builds the wall the way he built Trump Towers, he'll be using illegal immigrant labor to do it.
Yes, of course, hence the name. Movement, it moves a certain distance, then it stops, you see. A revolution gets its name by always coming back around in your face. You tried to kill me, you son of a bitch. So welcome to the revolution.
How do you lie to the FBI and now you're running for president? Seriously, how do you lie to the FBI and now you're running for president?
When you ran out the healthy arms, you ran out of really healthy. They had great arms, but they ran out. It's called sports. It's called baseball in particular, and pitchers, I guess you could say, in really particular.